Jeremy's on the road. He just texted me. Couldn't make it. And I swear my family waits till I get online live and they try to call me. Dang. There we go. What's going on, guys? I don't know where everybody else is.
Yeah, it's untailing. They're all busy.
Those are people that have money.
Wonder what that's like.
Well, those other people have responsibilities. I don't have responsibility. Although I do have a pot of red chili pozole cooking right now.
Oh, there you go. I had leftovers. Does that count? There's a lot going. There's a lot going on out there.
There he is.
Mm-hmm.
Wild world these days we're living in.
I'll wait till everybody gets on before we bring up Nevada.
We started on that.
Yeah, because Jared will blow up.
Yeah, Jared's gonna be.
Oh no! Hey, don't cause. Jared has no reason to blow up. He's got an imported dog. I'm sure he's getting along just fine. That dog has probably directed him in the direction of several cats, and I bet he's even got them roped up and tied over, waiting for the rest of the dogs to catch up.
Like I wish.
I need me one like that.
We had the one we trailed the lion Saturday, and I didn't get to hear him open. I couldn't hear him open, and then we trail up to this rock cropping, and I got 3 split races going on. I got 3-way split race going on. So that dog got confused. The Breck Bean dog got confused and was going in between everyone. Dogs would open over here trailing this track. He would get almost to those dogs. They would get quiet on a lose. And then the other group of dogs would open and he'd run over there to get to them. And we just we had a clusterfuck of a day.
You know what he was doing, right?
Telling me everyone's lying?
No, this deal is just, if you just step back and look at the caliber of the dog, he was actually interviewing the rest of your dogs.
Huh.
He's just waiting.
Seeing who was a good one.
He just wants to see who he can trust and who he can't.
Yep.
What else is going on? You been doing any hunting there, Derek? You went out. Did we talk about that last week?
I went out last week. Yeah, I ain't been out this week.
I went out yesterday.
Yeah.
Ran a different golf course that seen a couple lions on some ring cams. So I rode. These are like $1 million houses. So I rode the fence line, hoping that line would come out on any of that side. You know, talked to a couple millionaires. One of them, I got a friend who built a house for, or helped him with the house over there. He built a house in there. And he seen me ride by. I talked to his neighbor too. I didn't know his neighbor, but his neighbor knows me now. He said, "Hey, you guys hunting?" I said, "Yeah." "What are you hunting, lions?" I said, "Yeah." "They're in here." I said, "Yeah, I know." So I rode that, and the thing so I'm either gonna run my mule and my dogs onto the golf course and tree them out there, or I'm gonna run them to the res and tree them. So I only had about a mile in between that. I was trying to catch them in.
Right, skinny there.
Yeah, but I didn't care. When you don't get out, you know, it's like not being married and not having a girlfriend. You'll take whatever comes along, and that came along, and I went to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't care how ugly it was. So,
have you got any idea how hard it is to come by penicillin these days?
Right?
Well, I just use agricillin, so
Yeah.
I haven't died yet. So
Right your feet sore.
but we did a little 8-mile circle. And my wife was like, "Let's go ride mules. It's a nice day." I said, "Oh, okay." And then I threw 6 dogs in and we went.
Oh, yeah.
But she kept up. It was easy riding over there. trailed caught a couple of my dogs running some deer because I seen them run across the road, and I waited. We just riding up this road, headed back in a circle. I seen a couple of them. One bark over there. I'm like, oh. So I watched and I watched. There's crap. Come across that road where those deer were trying to make a little noise, and she made a little bit harder noise. Came back to me. It wasn't the tone button.
Yeah.
I got a question for all you guys. You're up to date on all this tech stuff. I was at Bass Pro Shop yesterday, and that's the first time I'd looked at any dog collars. Just, man, there's too many choices, and the price range goes up. So what's the difference in all of these dog collars now?
Like Dogtra or Garmin?
No, not those stupid ass doctors. Pardon me. No, just Garmin's.
He's the guy to answer it right there.
Like, what are you talking?
Oh.
Like the T5s versus the TT15s or the TT25s? Is that what you're talking, Benny?
Yeah, I saw 3 different choices there that ranged from, I don't remember what it was, at like $600 up to $1,400 or $1,500.
On a collar,
was-
or is that a combo?
Probably a combo.
I think that was a combo, but when I gave my
No,
dogs
just
away,
T-bone.
what's that?
He's
talking
yelling
about
at he's yelling at his wife, who we don't
Oh,
like.
he needs
We don't
he
like
needs
his
to
wife because
stop that.
you know why? Because she don't
Why
eat
is that?
Whataburger.
I don't know, dude. I heard a story today that really made me like her, and it's because she
Right.
called Jared out on his stupid shit, and it made my day. So,
That's true.
But she doesn't eat Whataburger. It's like
Ow.
communist. I know.
Now, any woman that can take dogs down a track and call her husband out for trying to turn them around and make them go backwards is okay. in my book.
Oh,
That's true.
dang.
Even if she eats Culver's.
Yeah.
Even if she eats clovers.
Mm-hmm.
But I hadn't had any when I gave my dogs away. I had the I still run in the Tritronics shockers and the 6 dog unit and the Garmin. What was it, a 30?
The three,
Probably the 320 or the 220.
probably 220.
That's what it was. It was a 320.
So
So-
now Benny, they're all one unit. Your handheld runs one collar, which is a shock collar and a tracking collar, all in one unit. And the differences you're seeing is probably just older models versus newer models. They have the Garmin Alpha 100 all the way up to there's a 200 and a 300, but also in those they have what's called a 300i. So it's your handheld that tracks and trains, but also has a Garmin InReach built in. So you can message cell phones or anything else like a cell phone or whatever other handhelds, like kind of like a satellite phone, but it works as like a text. So if you're out hunting in the middle of nowhere with no cell service, you could text your wife or whoever and say, "Hey, I'm here, got a lion going," whatever, off of those ones that are like the 300i. So it's a 300 Alpha with an InReach built in. And then there's different collars that have come out that have better battery life and things like that. So you're probably just seeing old versions versus newer versions.
Well, and that was going to be my next question, because when that Alpha first came out, their batteries sucked. And have they got better battery life?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. And they're rechargeable.
Yeah, they're rechargeable. Like and so the 300i now, the 300i paired with the TT25 collar would be like the newest of new collars and newest of handhelds. Some of these TT25 collars with an extended battery pack, you don't have to charge them for a week. You could go hunt 4 days in a row and not have to charge your collars. I would still say you should, just in case. But if compared to back when we first started with GPS, you were lucky to get a day out of your collar.
Well, here's the good thing about the 25s, right? Is say you don't charge your collars, and your dog's been out there for 2-3 days, and they're just laid up. That collar shuts off. It goes into dynamic, right? It don't shut off. It goes into dynamic tracking to where it kind of shuts down.
Yeah.
And when they move, it kicks back on. So when you're
So-
just out there taking a nap,
It-
on the trail,
it's
and all the dogs are
kinda-
just laid out.
Yeah, it really helps conserve battery
Mhm.
power, and they're really trying to. The biggest improvements Garmin's making is the maps, but also the battery life to keep these things on a lot longer. When you first got those, TT10s or even the TT15s, the battery life wasn't great, but you get to these TT25, X's with that extended battery pack, you can hunt 5 days in a row and not have to charge your collars. Do I think you should do that? No, but you can.
Jared,
And-
your Alpha 10, how long does that last? Because all that does is point.
Dude, I can leave that handheld on with 7 collars on, and like half a battery is like 30 some hours.
Mm.
I've literally just let it sit on my kitchen table for almost 50 hours and it still had battery going. My 10.
That's my biggest gripe with my dog trip. I've been running dog trip Pathfinder too for a year and a half now, 2 years almost. And it's great. I love my maps. My maps are way good, but I gotta charge them collars every night. I can't hardly get 2 days out of it. Right.
Yeah.
Even if I
And-
shut them off at night,
And you're having to carry a battery pack to
Yeah,
charge your
to
cell
charge
phone
my-
while you're hiking, right?
Yeah, I gotta carry a big jump pack or my phone will die. I can't
Yeah.
stand it. I'm gonna switch to Garmin as soon as I find a bag of money laying under a bush or something.
Definitely.
maybe-
I think the Dogtra has made a big impact on kind of on the coon hunter world where they're hunting 3-4 hours a night.
Yeah.
Versus, some of these, lion and bear hunters that are hunting 8 hours a day and then staying up in the mountains and turning around and doing it the next day.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where Garmin excels a little. I'm not saying one map system can definitely be a little better than the other. It all just depends on how you work it and the chips that you put in. But either way, it's not cheap. So
Yeah, even if I was back east coon hunting again, I still would rather have a Garmin because I never didn't like take myself hunt.
yeah,
There's too much water. The amount of times I've ended up armpit deep in the water suddenly. I'd be
Yep.
going through cell phones once a month or something.
well, and the way that these Garmin's work too is now they have an app on your phone that your handheld hooks to through Bluetooth. So if I'm not liking pulling out my handheld or whatever, if the map system doesn't quite work, I can pull out my phone and it shows everything that's supposed to be on my Garmin on my phone.
Yeah.
And the inReach works through my phone too, even though I don't have service. I can, if it's kind of a pain to type on that handheld, I can switch over to my phone, text Chris, say, hey, I've got a bear going over here through the inReach, and it works just great.
That's sick. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna switch back to Garmin. This dog trip experiment's been all right.
Well-
I think there's good and bad in both for sure.
Yeah, the cost was a big thing. That's a huge thing. I mean, for the price of one Garmin collar, you get the receiver and a collar for dog tree.
It definitely is that way, and I think I mean, I sell Garmin, but do I think Garmin has some flaws? Yeah, I think they've constantly tried to improve, but it's hard to make a piece of technology perfect.
Oh yeah.
Can
no
I say
doubt.
something?
No,
Yeah,
I figured.
you got a free one, so shut up.
I got a free 300.
You got a 300, Evan.
how's that?
And-
How's that been?
It was the screen and seeing where the dogs are going. That is handy. That is
Yep.
really cool.
I told him.
Wait till you put a map card in that.
Right now, the only other issue I have with the 300 is we were playing games with collars. I could pick a collar up with my 10 at 1.5 miles away with my 10, where the 300 lost it at 800 yards.
So, and I'm not gonna disagree with that. I think the Alpha 100 was the best model that's came out for range, plain and simple. But the advances with some of the others are better. Where your 300, I don't think it's been updated. So
Okay.
I if I was you, I would hook it to a computer and update it to the best or the latest version and see if
Okay.
that makes a difference. But I still think with range, I think your Alpha 10 and the 100, I think they're definitely a hair better, but the other features sometimes outweigh it when it comes to
by
that, if
far.
that makes sense. I mean, grab you a little long range handheld
Yep.
antenna and you're gonna excel anything there. But
I think it is the update because mine gets out there,
yeah,
way out
yeah,
there.
it's and like I say, yours, I can't remember how long it's been here since I ordered it or whatever. You know, they come in and out, but they're
Yeah.
not. It's not updated to the latest version. That's definitely better for sure.
And that 14-inch antenna that I got on mine, Jared, you put that
Mhm.
same one on your Garmin, that doubled my range.
Big time.
Okay.
So
Can you tune with the Astro 432?
is that tune or tone?
You cannot tone with the Astro.
No, none of
No.
the alpha. The alpha is the only ones that you can actually shock or tone or whatever.
That you can
Yeah.
shock or tone. It's a
Did-
track and train all in one. The Astros were all just still track.
But
They never had the train option.
The 15s had the vibrate, right?
Yeah, 15s. The TT 15s had the vibrate.
But the 25s don't have a vibrate.
They do.
They do.
Oh, maybe I haven't figured that out
As
yet.
far as I know, I could be wrong. Don't take it for concrete because I don't
Well,
know everything. But
when I think that, well, I guess that guy I talked to that bought that dog from, I should ask what collars. He said don't vibrate that dog. He'll take it worse than a shock.
some dogs hate it.
Yep.
They do not like it, and if they're not used to the vibrate, it can really mess with their world. You know.
Yep.
It'll put mine under the truck.
Yeah. He said he'd rather take an 18 than a vibrate.
Yeah. Some of them are that way. It's just that changes their whole nervous system. You know, a shock is shit. I shouldn't do that. A vibrate's like son of a bee. You know.
Yeah.
That's a whole different world.
Yep.
Garmin salesman lied to me. That's what you
Yeah.
must have told him in tone.
And I, as far as I know, I never messed with the the Astro. I didn't 430. I never messed with it much. I didn't carry it back then. But as far as I know, you couldn't do the train option as far as toning and shocking until the Alpha 100 came out.
Yep.
Yeah. Even with the newest Astro 430s that was out, that just got discontinued like last year or whatever, it's just like a 320 but better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just a little
it'll-
better maps, a little user friendly, but
it'll link to all the collars up to the 25, and it can track an alpha and all that. But the alphas can't track at the 430, and the 430 cannot tone or stimulate.
Yeah.
Because I love it. If I could get one, because I like the hard buttons. I like the size of it. Yeah.
Yep.
I wish they still made one like that, but with them other buttons on it would be handy.
Yeah, and with with the the 300 or 200i, the track and train buttons are all still hard buttons on top.
Yeah.
So
The only thing I wish on the alphas is to get to the shock part or correction part or tone part was easier. It's not hard, but if
you can set up shortcut buttons in the back end if you really dig into it. I say, I'm not an expert. I know a little. I mess with them as much as I can, but you can get into it to where you can hit a button that's a shortcut to get you to certain points.
Sometimes I just wish they had a shock all, just a little red button.
Yeah, it's the oh shit button, kind of like the
like they're all going to the res. Nope, I don't care if you're by me. Or you're
like
1,000 yards away.
The inReach button that's on the side, that's the SOS button. On the other side, there needs to be a flap that just says the oh shit handle that you just push and it zaps everything.
Yep.
Yeah, I like those lights. I really like the. I think did the 25s? Did they have the lights too? I think
Yeah.
they do. I haven't used them yet. I don't
Yeah,
really go out.
they do.
Do you
But I
know what's
like
really
those.
cool about the lights? When we would lion hunt in Nevada in the dark, you get 10, 12 dogs on the mountain. Not 10, 12, probably 8 to 10, but you get 8, 10 dogs on the mountain. You turn all their flashlight collars on
Mhm.
and watch them
Oh.
trail a lion in there. It
That's
looks
cool.
it looks like 10 little midgets just running around with flashlights.
Oh yeah.
Fire warden.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So-
don't they have the strobe too, where they blink?
Yeah, they can
Yep.
strobe them. You can
So
you can do
nice.
a couple different options.
Especially, I hunt in the nursery when I coon hunt down by my dad's, and it's not as bad now because it kind of burnt down a little bit, but it was really thick. I mean, really thick, and those lights were so handy, so handy, so handy. I
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
even going to talk about this tonight, but
Well,
I know.
and
I
going
started it.
that's all right. And going back to Robert's comment, the one before that you got highlighted, that is the one fault that Garmin has is a lot of their charging ports suck. You can buy
well, I
the
think you have to be careful because
You-
of the terrain and how where we are. I don't
Well-
mind.
well-
Someone said they
oh.
didn't like the 25s, but I'd like the 25s. I'd like them. I don't
Yeah,
mind them.
and everybody's different. I will say that the charging port on the 200 sucks. It does. If you buy an aftermarket one on Amazon that's more sturdy, it's better. I'll say that right up front.
Hmm.
But that's one thing they're working on. But
Make sure you put the collars on the right direction on the dog.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you got the charging batteries pointed towards the tip of their nose, the charging port or the
yep,
connectors,
you can't see the lights.
you can't see the lights, but that dog's gonna rub those connectors through every stick branch, and you could just stupid luck. I've seen it where they just pull one side out and now it won't charge.
Yeah, that or they'll get covered
know
in
what?
mud, dirt, shit.
The
Yeah.
new ones,
Just-
the new ones, are they the same as they've always been? Just antenna up left side of the dog's head, like it's always been,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, just a different charging on the back, little
And they
four
need
prong instead of.
Yeah, they change up the charging clip
Yeah.
a little bit.
and
but-
I think they just need to go to the magnet charger or where it sits on a plate.
It's
And
something
if
like that
Garmin's
would be
listening,
simpler.
how about we get with Siri and hook this up where I can say, "Hey Siri, shock yucky on 3 now."
There you go.
All right, and hey
if they
Siri,
do that, I want them to make where I can turn it off.
If they do that, they're gonna have
Yep.
to put a hillbilly accent frickin' thing on for Derek.
Oh,
Just-
hell.
Yeah,
No,
I
you're
can't
gonna-
talk to Alexa
you're gonna have
in
to
my
do the
home.
test.
And
I
take
talked to Alexa, and she's like, just I don't know. She don't know what I'm talking about. I might as well just speak in Greek.
Neither do we
Uh,
have time,
you,
Derek.
you need to get in on the back end of Alexa and say, I'm from back east, some bitch. You got to listen to me this way.
My kid listens to this like fireplace playlist. It's like crackling fire and rain on the roof, when he sleeps. And I'm
Yeah.
like, Alexa, play fireplace music. And she's just plays some song.
Yep.
And I did take it 4 or 5 times, and then randomly she'll just be like crackling fire. Like I'll slap her with that kind of talk.
I also think that I think Garmin should change the how easy it is to turn off and on the collars. One thing I loved about the old style beep beep collars was the magnets,
Yep.
because when someone messes with your dog, picks it up, they
Yeah.
can't turn that collar off or on.
Most of them don't know. I think I've told that story. There's a guy lost a dog. 6 months later is running down that road and his box. Beep. Oh, beep. Oh, that's weird. Gets stronger, gets up to a house. Guess what's in the yard?
Yep.
His dog, right? Calls the sheriff. He goes up, guys, like, that's my dog. I've had that dog. Calls sheriff shows up. They go to the shed. Guess what's hanging in the shed?
Collar. 'Cause
Call
they
her
don't know
6
how to turn
months
it off.
later. They don't know it. They don't know what it is. I don't even think there's lights on them. It just
No, there wasn't on the old style,
Mm-mm.
and I wish that's one thing I think that Garmin could really improve on. I mean, yes, it's nice to press the button, turn it on. It's nice to hold it, turn it off, but something that's a little more not as user friendly for us, but makes it harder for people that pick up dogs or take dogs or
Kind of like a
whatever. I mean,
biometric.
yeah,
You
I
something.
have
mean,
to shut the dog off by
Or
the head.
like
you
if they're
have to
gonna
have the
pull
handheld
to
next
shut
to
it
it
off.
to shut it
Yes.
off.
I like.
Don't wait.
It
Does
would,
the
the
do
handheld
they
should
have
have to be
pins?
within 10 feet to
Something.
shut that collar off.
Yeah.
Something like that. That
Well,
would make it harder for the collar to be stolen, harder for someone to. I mean, if they're gonna throw the collar in the ditch, at least you get your collar back. You might not get your dog back,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it just when they pull a collar off and see, oh, it's got a button, I'll turn it off.
Yep.
But if someone's gonna steal a dog, they're gonna steal it. They're gonna pull all the collars off and chuck them anyway.
Yeah.
But
they're
it
going to
makes
turn them off. That's the
yeah,
problem.
and it so I just wish it was a little harder for someone that didn't know the collars to shut them off.
Yeah, you have to touch it to shut it off. So there's no reason you don't have to have it touching the handheld.
I
To
would
be
deal
able to
with
shut it
that
off.
to be able to
Yeah.
just to hold the button and click the handheld to it. I'd
Mhm.
be okay with that.
And obviously, if you're hunting with somebody, they have your tracking code anyways.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is what makes that thing worth money when you're hunting with people. How many times my dad said, "My dogs are headed over to the res,"
So
and I said, "Give me that tracking code." Bam, correction code
Yeah.
too. I'm gonna screw them dogs up, and
Well,
then I
and
go pick them up. God, it's beautiful.
and that's what's making these new Alpha XLs really excel is now if I'm running bear, just because a lot of times you're in the truck running bear versus lions the way I hunt, I can leave my kids in the truck with a radio and be out hiking picking up dogs in a shithole.
Mhm.
And if I'm down in a crap hole with 5 dogs and I'm missing 2 dogs and I can't pick them up on the handheld, I can radio my kids and say, "Hey, do you have so and so picked up?" Yeah.
Mhm.
Now they can tone that dog, track that dog, and if the
Mhm.
dog's crossing a road when they go to pick it up, they can stop it.
Yep.
Versus if it was just a drive track, they can't do that. If they had another handheld, they can, but the screen's this big versus a screen that's this big. It's
Yeah.
just easier.
since
I like you can track. Like if I go down and hunt with Jared, I can track his GPS and know where he is.
Oh yeah.
Because let me tell you something. I need that more than I need the gosh dang dogs with Jared.
Well, Jared doesn't
Right.
know that I have his GPS pinned. Like, sorry, bud, you took that
And we're
risk.
going to raffle that off next week, guys.
Anybody in Southern Arizona, I
Yep.
have Jared's handheld pegged. I can
Yep.
tell you where he hunts and where he's finding tracks because I can watch him walk.
Now Sarah's going to call you. Hey, I need you to find Jared right now.
just don't give it to the DEA or Border Patrol. They're like, he goes in this one wash in Mexico every now and then, and he comes
Yeah.
straight back out.
He goes in 150 pounds and he comes out 200 pounds. I don't know what
Yeah.
that's about.
So, Dustin, that brings up, I guess you kind of answered it. I was going to ask another question about, because of my telephone, the game wardens in eastern Arizona had me pinged if I was there for, I don't know, if I was there anytime the third day the game warden showed up.
Yeah.
He didn't act like he was looking for me, but 25 times the third day, it doesn't take rocket science to figure this deal out. But they can also be aware of where you are through those new collars.
Not unless they have the code for it, Benny. They all have their own specific code, and you can actually change it. If for some reason you pull up a collar and you're like, I need it to have a different track code, you can change that on your handheld.
Okay.
So it's not like the old telemetry collars where you had the 00 frequency in it and that collar was stuck at that. No, I can take this collar. And if I show up to hunt with Chris and my collar is too close to Chris's, I can change my collar's frequency and it's a new frequency from now on.
Okay.
Does that make
That-
sense?
That's
Absolutely.
the drawback. That's the drawback to this, because when I had my 220 and I was at a tree with 5 other hunters that we all showed up same tree, none of my callers failed because I had the DC 30s and I
Yep.
had the 220. And I loved the 220 and the DC 30. The only reason I don't have it is because I ran out of shot collars. It's hard. My son did find batteries for those and he rebuilt some, but and I think those batteries, instead of 3.6 volt, I think they're like 6 volt because they hit hard when they shot. But
Yeah.
that's why. And I had an Astro and I whacked a dog in the head because it was on the chain. Actually, I was tying him up and he got tangled and I whacked him to get over and it broke my antenna off.
Mm.
So I still had the 100. And I had to use it by holding the antenna. I was down hunting with Jared. So I had no shot capabilities. About 80 yards was it, if that.
Yeah.
But then
Yep.
I ended up just ordering a 300 and 10 callers. And
Yep.
they've
And
been
the
good to
thing-
me.
Yeah, they have, and with these new collars, Benny, the track code is different than the train code. So I can share just my track code with Chris. So all he can do is track it, but he cannot tone or shock my dog unless I share that with him too. Does that
Control
make
code,
sense?
track code.
Yep. So and you can change it. As long as I'm close to that collar and I'm hunting for the day, I can be like, you know what, I want to change that one for the day. Usually you don't unless you get interference, and that's what Chris is talking about. Is sometimes you'll get interference that I'll
On the
show up.
collars.
I'll show up to hunt for a day, and my collar will be here, and then it will bounce and hit 10 miles here, and it will bounce back, and that means that someone close by has a similar code to that collar, and I'm getting interference. So for me, I just need to get that dog back close to me, change the track code, and I won't have that anymore. But you do get a little bit of that when you get too close to other guys.
So
And
I
if you're
got a
hunting
funny
with them-
story about that.
When you're hunting with them, turn all your collars on. Make sure you don't
Yeah.
have any interference and then go about your day.
And the thing that's nice is like if I hunt with Jared regularly, I can make a group of collars that
Oh,
are
what I
Jared's
did.
dogs. And
Mhm.
so I can, hey, I got my 10 dogs, but I want to
Mhm.
see where Jared's are. I can shut this group of dogs off, turn this group of dogs on. I can watch
Gotcha.
all of Jared's dogs and see where they're at. And then, oh, they're over here. Mine are over here. We're good. We're going to do different. Or they're together. I'll turn mine back on and just follow my dogs or vice versa.
Okay.
So
So
Friday.
Tim, oh, just real quick, Tim brought up this deal, said the game wardens can get the IP address for your handheld from Garmin. But if I bought stuff from you, Garmin just sells it to you. They don't sell it to
So
me, right?
no, that's game warden could get anything he wants if there's a crime and he subpoenas it and the judge signs it off, and they can look in your Onyx, they can look in your phone, they can look in your truck GPS, they can look in your anything they want. They can get all this Garmin. Anytime, you got to remember all this stuff is uploaded somewhere. Still got a server.
So, but you can also change the handheld ID.
hmm
If it's interfering or something, like the only way they're gonna get your true handheld is if they have a warrant and they come
Yep.
get it from you and they pick up the ID. Because there's no
Okay.
way for them to search it just
And-
like that. Because I can change it just like I can change the caller ID.
And I'm not, I'm just
Yeah, I get it.
I'm thinking about getting some hounds, and it'll be with a buddy of mine. I won't have the dogs, but they've bird dogged me for so many decades, and I just want peace. And if they weren't smart enough to catch up to me and follow me around when I was getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning before, I just don't want to make things easy for them if they start giving me shit anymore.
No, Benny, if you buy one, even if you buy one straight from Garmin or from me, they have no idea what serial number that one is unless you get on and register it with Garmin.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
they
it would be easier.
yeah, they have no way of being like, oh, Benny bought this handheld from Cold Strike. It's this one. No, I don't.
And let me tell you, there's no reason to change your code every day, guys. And there's no
No.
reason to swap handhelds with anybody ever. Okay? Or callers or anything. I'm just saying there's no reason to do that.
No, they can't track it at all. Nope.
It was
Every day.
way easier
Don't
back in
do
the
it
day
every
with
day.
telemetry. Like with telemetry, you could be like, oh, well, Benny's in those mountains. I know he's in there. So you could just fox hunt your collars up. You know what I mean? But they can't do that with this stuff.
No, it's different. You can't add a collar unless you know the frequency or someone shares it with you.
So
I get a kick out of Tim's comment. It's not just you, they bird dog most all houndsmen. No, I get it, but it was accelerated all the way up to U.S. Fish and Wildlife undercover for me.
Yeah. Yep. And with this new stuff, I mean, if they had warrants, they could try and do some stuff, but it's a lot harder because it's a lot more interchangeable, if that makes sense. So,
Tell us your story, Jared.
So speaking of interference, this is how houndsmen should act. I'm going to say that right now because I know where we're going.
I know where he's going.
I know it.
I told Dustin this story today because we've been talking about some subjects.
I'll be right back. You keep going.
It's Friday. I was down on the border. I was hunting. Found a lion track in the road. Me and Brandon, my buddy Brandon, we're hiking it out. And we get, I don't know, 20 yards hiking the track out on the road. And I look at him, I'm like, I hear dogs barking. And he listens. He's like, I hear dogs barking. So we start following the noise of the dogs. There's another guide and outfitter that I know, good guy, nothing wrong with him, real good guy. His truck and trailer's parked 200 yards down from where I found the lion track. He's trailing it. And
You assume
basically-
he's trailing it.
no, he's trailing it. Like, we followed that lion track to the trailer.
Oh.
Like, he drove over it, not paying
Yeah.
attention. He's hunting on mule and horseback.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a destination in mind. That's where he was going that day. I'm listening. My buddy Brandon's listening. He's like, they're going away. They're back trailing. He's guiding a hunter. I know he is. So I drive up the road. We don't load dogs. We drive up the road. I get on the phone. I try calling him a couple times. He doesn't answer. So now it's just like, well, we'll go hunting anyway. And we didn't catch the lion, but we were going the right way on it. But I had interference on him the whole day, and he back-trailed that lion 1.5 miles because I was picking up one of his dogs with one of my handhelds that were on.
That does happen. Picking up someone else's dogs.
Oh, yeah. And, I watched him go until it got hot. We were trailing the right way. He was trailing the wrong way. And I was like, well, they're quitting it. They're coming back. He was 1.5 miles, and now he's 1.3. And I had the dog thing going off, everything.
Yep.
But I called him because he had a client. I was his pleasure hunter.
It's called courtesy, professional courtesy.
Yeah, like he was trying to make $1 that day. I was just out training dogs.
Yeah, but you called him to make sure he was.
Oh, absolutely.
And to tell him, hey, you're going backwards, buddy.
Yeah, he had a hunter that day. I'm not gonna go and try to undercut him on it when don't even have a hunter that day.
This is because Jared is kind-hearted.
Shot it.
Jared is kind-hearted and thinks you should just be able to hunt wherever you want. Is that a good segue? Is that a good segue?
Segue. There you go.
Oh, hell, here we go.
Let's just get the Nevada thing over with.
Time to make people mad.
And I'm just gonna kind of go on both sides because there's people who believe you should just be able to hunt anywhere. And there's more than one side. There's people who say, stay out of my state, or you got to do this special permit, just like Idaho or whatever. But there's also those people that just kind of fall in between it all. You know what I mean? They just hunt by themselves. They don't want no one in their state, but they just mind everybody's business. There's people out of California don't like it. There's people out of Idaho, Nevada. There's people everywhere don't like it. And what's going on is Nevada's trying to. Who knows more about this, Jared? You probably know more about it than I do.
My phone's been blowing up, and I've
Yeah,
been getting yelled at both ways.
What's the petition they're going for? What do they want?
So they want to limit hound usage to 20. They want to every resident, non-resident have to buy a hound permit. $30 hound permit for a resident, $300 for a hound permit for a non-resident, and the quota for that is 20 non-residents for the state per year.
And it has to be a draw, right?
And it has to be a draw. I don't think it's first come, first serve. Now, I talked to a buddy. My whole wedding party signed this petition. Every one of my buddies signed it. So I'm the odd man out of the group with all my best friends. And I called my one buddy on it and I was like, hey, just so you know, I'm going to end up talking about this on Wednesday night and I don't agree with it. And we got into a 3-hour conversation. And his issue is he lives in the northeast corner of Nevada where it's Oregon, Idaho, Utah. Nevada, it's $350 or $250, whatever it is, for a non-resident to come in and kill a lion with dogs, guide, whatever, for a non-resident. And what the issue is this is all hearsay. There's no hard facts. I don't know anything about what I'm about to say. There's
You see that
guys coming
comment?
in. I'm trying really hard to stay in the
Dude,
line.
this comment's the best though.
Yeah. Jared, you're telling us both your friends signed it?
Yep, that's true. That's true. And they're claiming that guys from Oregon, Idaho, and Utah are coming into the state on the border and the border sections, dumping lions, killing lions, and sneaking them across the border before they can get caught.
And claiming them, they got them in Idaho or Utah.
Yep. Because Utah's no tag.
Yeah.
So you got a half hour, 45-minute sketchy drive home, and then you cross that border line, that imaginary line in the dirt, you're home free.
Mm-hmm.
And I read a comment today. I was telling Dustin I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on it, but here we go. You got guys from Michigan coming, and they are killing everything they catch, and people are mad about it. That guy's been in your country for a week and a half. You've been in there for 15 years. You shouldn't be getting beat. I get he's from Michigan, but he's been in there for a week and a half, 2 weeks. Come on. And then this is, like they're saying there's more non-resident hound trucks in that corner of the state than there's resident hound trucks in that corner of the state. Okay? And that corner of the state is from Pioche, Panaca, all the way up to where Nevada meets Oregon, Idaho border. That northeast, eastern side of Nevada is getting hammered and hunted into the ground. But mind you, that side of the state has the best lion hunting conditions when it comes to snow country. So you go to where I was in Nevada, they haven't gotten snow over in my side of the state for 2 years. Hardly any lions have been killed in some mountain ranges that I hunt in Nevada.
Real quick, Jared, they got a quota in Nevada?
245, I think.
And when has that ever been
statewide.
filled?
Never been filled.
So unless, in my opinion.
Hold up. Let me finish here. I'm getting both sides right now.
Okay.
I just did everyone's mad about non-residents.
That's the people for the petition.
For the petition.
Okay.
And now I talked to some buddies that are on the east or the western side of the state where I lived. And I called him one buddy Sunday night about it, and he's like, I think it's BS. He's like, I drove snow the other day, and no, it's been sitting for 2 days and no one touched it. Okay, so you have that on the western side of the state, and another thing you have on the western side of the state. Two of my mountain ranges, not mine, but two of the ranges I hunted, haven't really gotten snow in a couple years. It's been pretty dry. No one's been hunting them. Hardly any lions been checked in those units. Guess what happened this year to those units? Government trapper came in and killed 14.
In Nevada.
In Nevada. Government trapper came in and killed 14. On the west side of the state, there's worse conditions, less roads, and there's not, if you're hunting the west side of the state and you break catching 15 lions in on the west side of the state, you're something special. That's work. My best year was 17. My all-time best year. My average was 11 to 15, 10, 15. And that's six to 10 in the dirt, the rest in the snow. Or 6 to 10 in the snow when we got it, 4 or 5 in the dirt. And I'm hunting year round up there when I lived up there full time, not just in the summers. So you have that going on where you have the east side of the state guys are getting hammered by this trifecta of non-residents of Oregon, Idaho, Utah. And then you have the west side of the states all, no one comes over here, but there's no conditions over there. Like I saw a guy comment today on social media. He's all, hey, how about I send you some Utah guys to your country? The guy commented, he's like, bring them. He's like, no one's over here anyway. The government trapper was in here a couple years ago, so they already need to be killed in here. Bring them over. Or you come over as a resident.
Was Jim Bueller in Nevada?
He was in Ely.
Ely.
And he's retired. He quit.
Yep.
My whole thing on this is a couple of fold. So if guys are killing lions, taking them over state lines and tagging them in other states or whatever, they're poachers. They should be prosecuted for that.
Well,
And
this
if
is
a guy-
another issue.
If a guy
is-
steals a car, you don't take all of our driver's licenses away. That's ridiculous.
Yes. This is
And then-
another issue that the state of Nevada has that I didn't have enough clue about is there's one game warden over in that section.
Well, that's where they need to petition for another game warden. If a guy's
Well-
coming from Michigan or Ohio or whatever and coming out and hunting snow, he might catch a lion. But if he's beating you, you suck. Like, be better. As an Eastern hunter that come out west, if I come out here like I thought I was going to and put the whoop on you boys, y'all ain't no good. Like, that's just if some dude is bringing his coon dogs from Ohio or something coming out here and whooping everybody, well, we don't have it figured out, boys. Like, we're all doing it wrong,
Yeah.
I tell you what happens. They come out here and they struggle bus and catch 2 lions a year. I'm not going to name any names or point at anybody, but it's hard. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
And it is.
I think the entire thing has nothing to do with out-of-staters running us out. Like you said yourself, they don't fill the quota. You're not filling the quota, quit whining. I think it's all about the money. I think they're losing out on easy cats that they can make money on. So we're making laws to make it easier for you to monetize the wildlife that belongs to everybody. And also, you're hunting on federal land almost exclusively. If you want to hunt a big old piece of land and nobody else is allowed on it, pile up all
go to
the way
Texas.
down, go to Texas and buy you a big ranch and put a big old high fence on it, and nobody can come in there and bother you. But if you want to hunt public land and then try to exclude other people, when did all you guys get your Sierra Club memberships? What I want to know, because all you're doing is doing the antis work for them. And I'm making a lot of people mad with that, and I don't care. If you're for this, you're just doing all the CPB, you're doing their work for them.
And
All those guys.
there's different parts to this. Jared and I had what we talked for like an hour and a half on the phone today. So
Yeah.
so what are you allowed? Just so we can clarify some stuff. What is a resident or a non-resident allowed to kill as far as lions in Nevada? How many?
Non-residents legally are allowed to kill 2.
What about a resident?
2.
Okay. First of all, that's a problem. I see that as a bigger problem than out of staters is
Yeah.
it should be 1 per person.
Yeah.
And I think, and I don't, I
Well-
can't say a lot about Nevada because I haven't done my research. I'm sure there's probably units, but I doubt there should be unit quotas. And in those unit quotas, there should be female sub quotas. If you're worried about the lion population as a whole and caring about the lions, that should be your first part.
Yep.
If you're just worried about some guy in your backyard and you're trying to keep him out, you're going to go about it a different way. And to me,
Yeah.
you should care about the lions, not care about keeping the guy out of your backyard. Because if you care about the lions and you regulate how many get killed, how many females get killed, that's going to help keep the lion numbers better. And if the out-of-state guy beats you in your backyard, get out of bed earlier. I'm sorry. Like I've hunted Utah and I've hunted Idaho. I've dealt with where Idaho holds the out-of-staters to a certain number, and I've dealt with Utah where it was a free-for-all for a lot, but also Utah kicked a lot of out-of-state bear hunters out of their 3 best units and said you have to draw to hunt in those units. They didn't kick them out completely. They still left the whole rest of the state open, but those 3 biggest units that are the best units in the state, they limited the number of out-of-staters, which is okay because they're not kicking them out, but limiting them is a little. It's hard. But if you try and just say "F you" to all the out-of-staters and limit it to 20, I don't think it's right. I understand kind of their motive behind it, but I think they're going about it a wrong way. I think you should implement better things for lion management first and then try to regulate out of state after that. Yes, an out-of-stater should be able to come and hunt, but I think they need to pay dearly for it to make it worth it for them to come in and hunt a big tom. Versus if I can kill 2, I'm going to come in and whack whatever I kill first
Well-
because it doesn't matter.
You got to remember, there's 2 non-resident resident, and they still now haven't got the quota. Now, if there was 2 and they're shutting that quota down in 3 months, okay, let's go to 1. But if they're worried about the population, then why don't you go to 3?
Well, here's some issues with Nevada's game department.
They don't know their heads from their arms.
That was my wife. That was my
She
wife.
is
I know.
she is my
You should've-
favorite person
Should
today.
have put a muzzle on her.
No, hell no. I love it.
So, a guy checked in a lion last week. It was a tom. He checked it in. Was told next one should be a female. Kill the females. The game department does not like the lions in Nevada. That's just me thinking it. Whatever. But when
This is the thoughts and
they-
opinions of Jared Fisher, not of the show.
Shut up. Because in some areas there are lion populations that need to be managed harder. Like when I brought a lion into a place, my wife used to work with a member of the department. His wife, she used to work with. We brought this lion in. We were talking, and he kind of hinted. He was all, "Hey, you need to go start doing some work on some lions in such and such area." He's like, "Otherwise, the state trapper is going to come in there and do it." Pretty much told me no more tree and free over there because they're going to die anyway.
Yeah. Which is, it's hard.
If
It
they have
is.
to
So
bring in a
it's-
government trapper, there's no reason they should even consider limiting anybody. Like I said, it's
100%.
the numbers that count, right?
It's
Well,
well, this is where everything is effed up. Where I hunted, the conditions sucked. It was the devil's armpit. It might got a 1 or 2 snows a year. The snow was burned off within 4 or 5 days. Usually, maybe you might have some snow in the bottoms. You go to the east side of the state, it's colder. The snow sticks.
Yep.
The snow stays. Everyone knows if you want to catch lions consistently, you're going to hunt the powder. You're going to hunt the snow. This is where all the issues are at, or is in the snow country with the non-residents coming in.
And it's tough. And
It's
going back to like Robert's comment before, he says, I like that you could take 2 just for the fact that when you fill your tag, you can still hunt and train. That's what you call a pursuit permit.
Yep.
No taking 2. You take 1, and as long as you have a pursuit or a hound handler's permit, you can pursue without killing. That's a different story than being able to kill 2. Because that is one thing that I think Utah had right before they went to the shit, is I could hunt in Utah without a kill tag my entire life. All I had to do was go buy a $30 pursuit permit for a resident. It was a little more for non-resident. And I could train my dogs no matter what on lions. And they had a different pursuit permit for bears that I could just go train. Wasn't planning on killing. I could just go hunt. And I think that's a great tool. I wish Arizona would put in a pursuit permit for off seasons that
Bear.
you could just go run bear.
Yep.
You know, just go train, because I think it does bears good to be pushed a little to keep them away from human conflict. The more they get a little pressure from dogs and things like that, and having just a pursuit season is a great thing. You know, that is one thing that Utah does right, is the whole month of July is nothing but a pursuit season on bears. There's no kill tags, nothing. It's just for houndsmen to go train. So I think that could be a thing that could be implemented in Nevada as well, is just I mean, they're trying to do it with a hound handler permit, and they're trying to do it as a draw for 20. And I understand it, but at the same point, I think you're going to anger a lot of people, and you're going to keep a lot of money out of that state for that.
well,
And
just the number 20 hand permits. That's just it's a middle finger.
yeah,
Yep.
it is. It's we're going to give you a breadcrumb, and the rest is
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pissing down everybody's back and telling them it's raining. And then,
Yeah.
but then when the antis come after them, because they've segregated themselves in their own little bubble and kept everybody else out, they're going to want help from all these guys they just flipped off. You know, if you're doing the work for the antis when you segregate yourselves. That's how they beat us in California. That's how they beat us in the Pacific Northwest.
Yep.
That's how they beat us in Louisiana with the deer dogs like
Yeah.
15 years ago. We got to stick together.
And I agree. Do
insane.
I think that there should be some regulations for out-of-state hunters versus in-state hunters? Yeah, you live there. It's your home state. Well, like this comment that's here. Like, I agree it's federal land, but states still have reign over the hunting seasons on that federal land. So I don't know.
I think if they
hard.
want to draw for a lion tag for non-residents, say they 60 or whatever, and you got to draw for your tag, that's fine. Where they start saying you can hunt, you can buy a lion tag over the counter, but you can't bring your dogs. You have to hire this guy or this lady or this whatever.
Yeah.
That they're voting with their pocketbook. It has nothing to do with the lion
Well,
population.
as a guy,
And could you imagine if you want to say I want to go kill a 200-inch whitetail, I'm gonna go to Ohio. Yeah, it's cool. We'll sell you a license, but you have to use a self bow with stone arrowheads. You're not allowed to use your compound. You can't use your rifle. Out-of-staters can only use self bows. That's insanity, and that's
well,
what they're effectively doing.
as a guide, 90% of our clients are non-resident.
Well, yeah,
I mean, I'm trying to think. Out of guiding 7 years, I think I've had 2 in state. You know,
So
Very
you think they
rarely.
should go after the client more than the hounds guy? Like,
no,
hey, any
No.
hounds guy could come hunt here, but to
no,
get an out of state.
But that's what
What-
they're going after the hound guy.
Yeah,
They're not.
they're
have to
going
go-
after the hound guy.
Yeah, they're not going after the client.
Well, I'm asking, do you think they should go after the client more than and
No.
limit the clients and not the
No.
hound guys?
No, because the clients are the one that gives you money. He puts bread on my table. He's the one going to those big. These when we have paying hunters, these aren't Joe Schmoes. You know, I've
they
had guys
put-
say, "Hey, we have to stop here because we have phone service. I have to talk to a guy about a $3 million project."
Well, and not to.
And-
I'll let Jared finish. But out-of-state clients bring money into local economy.
Absolutely. And they donate to little, like I tell everyone, AWDA, Nevada Houndsman Association, Houndsman of Nevada. I tell them about all these associations to donate to, because I tell them about the shit that we have to deal with every year with legislation. So they donate money to these people, to, you know, AWDA and NONV or whatever. HONV, I'm sorry. Houndsman of Nevada. So you can't bite the hand that feeds you. So what I was talking open-mindedly about with a couple people was if you want to hunt somebody else's state, it has to financially hurt to where I want to hunt everywhere. I want to hunt Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, Washington, everything. I love traveling. But I'm going into another dude's backyard. I'm a non-resident in Arizona. That's why I called that guy and told him, or tried calling that guy to tell him he's going backwards. He had a hunter that day. I didn't. So I tried telling him, hey, you need to go this way, whatever. It didn't happen. So I like to be in control of where I can go and what I want to do. If that means I have to pay $1,500 for a hound handler permit to go there, I'll pay $1,500 because I know how much it costs to run hounds and how much it hurts when a dude from behind me or in front of me or next to me, whatever, beats me to a lion. And he's not from here and I had a hunter. I get it. You know, there's guides that make a living doing this in the winter and they have people taking cats out of their backyard, which I know we are mad about and we don't give a crap about. But when his costs went from $100 that week in fuel to now $1,000, that's money off his table. So to make it hurt a little bit for the non-resident, so it's not just $275 to shoot 2. Make it $1,500. You get your hound handler permit and you get 1 tag. And if you kill that lion with that 1 tag, get the hell out of the state. Go home.
That's
No
really
more pursuit. You filled your tag. I don't care if it was a 60-pound female or a 200-pound tom. You filled your tag. You went there what you're meant to do, and you did it.
So, Jared, you pay more to hunt in Arizona.
Yeah.
I pay more to hunt Arizona.
My wife, we pay 600 tags. We pay $600 a year in deer tags as
So
non-residents.
that's what you're talking about. It should hurt the out of state money.
a higher tag. I can see that.
So
You get the privilege to hunt.
you get the privilege to go somewhere else, new country, some other dude's backyard. You know, $1,500. If all of us save up, if we all work an extra hour or do something, we can all save up $1,500 to go hunt somewhere else for a tag.
Yeah.
If
My-
you want to do it bad enough. If you don't
My-
want to do it and think that I'm just trying to financially cripple people out of hunting out of state, well, you don't want to hunt hard enough.
I think a higher tag price for non-residents is a good idea. $1,000, whatever, 1,500, whatever, something like that. But when you start Xing people out because it makes it hard for you, you're doing the exact same thing that the bunny huggers and the bird watchers are doing. When they try to take our dogs away because they don't want to listen to them bark.
Well,
It's
Absolutely.
completely
let's
ridiculous.
back it up a second because we're talking about hounds here. You know, Red Nose is saying no. Rick is mad. Let's talk about the deer hunters and the elk hunters. How much they're paying $15,000 to hunt out of state.
Yeah.
What
That
makes
is the rarity.
what makes the deer and the elk so much more important than a lion? Why do I have to pay that?
Because the lions cost the state money, elk and deer make the state money.
So it's okay. You're telling me you don't want me to. Rick's getting mad, but when it comes to deer and elk, no one's whining about the extra cost, the $600 it costs to come elk hunt here. I think I don't know what the over-the-counter tag is. You know, in Arizona, it only costs you $300 to hunt a bear.
Yep.
It only costs you what, like $250 to hunt a lion.
Yep.
On the
That's what
flip
Jared's
side of it,
talking about when he says hurt you. That's his hurt.
Yeah.
on the flip side of that, though, you got to figure if a guy's coming from West Virginia and bringing his dogs, he's going to spend $5,000 at the minimum.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to be $1,200 in fuel each way, plus what you spend driving around. I don't know about you guys, but I'm dumping 2 tanks of fuel every time I go hunting, and I live here.
Absolutely.
And a higher tag price is fair. Like just like you say, an extra $100 a month, and there's your tag. You know, guys spend that all day. Alaska moose tag costs $800 for
So-
non-resident, not including the
Yep.
license. You know,
So-
I'm here for that, but you just can't be kicking people out because it makes it harder for you to make a living. I'd love to be a fur trapper like the 1830s. That'd be really
But-
cool. But you know, we can't do that now because it's 2025 and times have changed. If you can't make a living as a guide, then you can't. You know,
You
I'd be
can,
cool to be.
but what I'm saying is you have to have respect in a guy's backyard. Is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah,
Now,
but I don't think
with
it's
that being
disrespectful to
said,
come in and hunt on
'cause-
public land.
It is public land, but what I'm saying is bad is I'm not you getting the guys non-residents, you know, that are coming in from out of state, and there's 5 of them and they all have dogs, and they camp on 2 mountain ranges for that time. That's 5 times 2 is what? That's 10 lions. We all know that's a whole mountain range. That and the snow country, this is the shitty part about snow country. Lions can't hide. That snow tells you everywhere they go.
And Rick, nobody in this group is saying, we're the ones that are saying Jared is against the Nevada thing. He thinks he should be able to go hunt anywhere.
I just think
agree.
I just
And-
think you have to pay to do it, and you have to pay good money.
It's a resident hunt.
Yes.
To a non-resident.
it's
Everybody
hard.
does it.
Non-resident versus resident prices is hard. I understand, yeah, it's federal land there, but the state thinks of it differently. They're state animals. It's paid for states to regulate it and things like that. But I mean, like not being a dick, and you can hate me, you can hate Cold Strike. I don't care. But to come out and say I'm not buying anything from you, all this crap, whatever. I donate to every hound organization I can from me, not from a business. I donate to Virginia. I helped fight the stuff that was going on back east. I donate to coon hunters. Am I planning on going out there to hunt? No. I try to preserve hound hunting in every state that I can because I care about it, because I want them to be able to come to bat for me when things happen.
Brandon's on his way to get
Tag prices and being able to hunt in resident other states is a privilege. It's not a right. I wish it was, but it's not. Like, to say I don't know. Like I get it. Like it's hard what Nevada's going through. Look at Utah. Utah's a free for all state, and every houndsman in that state is fighting just to have good
To
hunting.
get rid of that.
Well, like they want to get rid of it because it's a free for all state, and now guys that used to go hunt in their backyard are driving hours and hours and hours, driving 5 hours a day just to find a track because, and I'm not saying it's all out of state because it's in state too, but out of state and in state people are killing anything and everything that climbs. So just like it's hard. Like I understand guys from back east that don't have a lion population, have never hunted lions in their life, want to come out and kill one. Yes, I get that. That's a bucket list thing. Just like a bucket list thing for me is to go to Canada and hunt a lynx. But when I go to Canada and hunt a lynx, I want to kill a big, mature, nice tom. Do I want to go kill 10? No, I want to kill one. So to come out to these states, and yes, I get it's a big investment to drive from Michigan, Wisconsin, clear to Nevada to hunt. But to do that, make it worth it and take a trophy. Don't come out and kill 2 lions, kill one big mature lion.
Yes.
That's all I care about is the preservation of the species and the preservation of the trophy, not the money.
And that same thing though can be put right on all of us, you know. Because how many, I know we've all seen a grillion pictures of some guy, oh, my client got this lion, and it's a 5'3" girl holding the cat up that ain't touching the ground, you know? Like, I think they either got to lower the quota, but they're not even filling the quota. That's what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with the lions or trophy quality or population. It's all about this guy has to drive farther or he has to get up earlier. You know, if you can't take the competition, then move to Texas. Like I said, like, I don't know. I got a different perspective. I grew up hunting where everybody was hunting the same 1,000 acres. Like, it's all public. Everybody's in there, you know. You're just used to it. You can't be out there like, oh, boo-hoo, it's hard for me now. Let's kick everybody out. Because that's not America. That's not what we do. You know, if it's an over-the-counter tag, make it more expensive. It shouldn't be $200. That's great. Make it expensive. But don't try to be, oh, for no reason at all, we're just kicking you guys out except 20 of you. Go screw yourselves, you know. That's just a good way to put yourself all out there nice and friendly. And next thing you know, you're going to end up like Oregon, and then you're going to want to come hunt somewhere else.
Absolutely.
And they're going to be like, wait a minute, remember when you kicked us out? You know. You're just doing the anti's work for them. It's completely absurd. If they're genuinely worried about the lion population or the trophy quality, then they need to petition to lower that quota. And yeah, maybe they need to do something like we talked about with bears. Like if you guide a hunter and kill a female, maybe you got to go a year without tags. Get you a different job. I don't know. Do something.
You know, and it's
well, we already knew he was going to make people mad, and let me real quick. Rick was going to come out and hunt, and now he's mad because somebody said the number 1,500, and we were just saying a number. When you have lion tags for $500 in Colorado,
yep,
right? But we just threw a number out there, 1,500. Everybody's stuck on this $1,500. We're just
I should have just said expensive.
Yeah, you guys are. I mean, Rick, I think you're getting mad for no reason. Because I didn't tell you I was going to charge you $10,000 to come out and elk hunt and run dogs with me.
Come out. I'm not trying to kick anyone out. I'm not trying to kick anyone out.
For Rick to just kind of like F you guys. And for you to say I'm not giving you money no more because one person said something, that's kind of childish. I don't have nothing against Rick. I'm not going to talk shit here. I'm just saying, you guys, this is something that needed to be talked about. And I've already gotten text that said, oh, I guess it's good for your podcast. There's nobody on that side, on the petition side, anybody who started it or supports it that wants to come on this show and say this is the reason for it. Nobody, everybody, they all just tried to sneak this in.
I could have called somebody.
We're being about as transparent as we can here. And our lion tag, Randy, it's $15 here for line tag. $150 or $100 for a non-resident. It's pretty cheap. And is there any state any state that has the same price as a resident to non-resident?
No.
No.
So
And-
why are we getting our asses chewed?
Well,
Because we
it's
said
just-
you have to pay to go somewhere else.
You do.
The last thing I'll say on it is that I think, and this might ruffle everybody's feathers, I think that they should raise our tag prices. I think a $15 lion tag ain't doing nothing for conservation. I would be happily to pay $100, $150, whatever.
How much would half of us pay for a pursuit bear tag and teaser? There's probably going to be a petition put in.
I'd pay
Pursuit
more
bear
money
season.
for
I'm
that.
just saying.
I'd pay good money for that. I'd pay
know,
good money for a pursuit bear
but just-
tag. And
Yeah, but just because we brought up $1,500, that it was just a number that got thrown out there. He's saying is it should be more expensive.
Yeah.
So,
It- it-
and we're not the typical. We want your money. We're the typical. We'll tell you what we think, and if you want to give us money, that's your business. I've appreciated everybody that's gave money. Rick has been a great. He's given us money, and Evan, you better go look at the tape. Cold Strike, you said you don't want us. I don't think Cold Strike ever said you don't want us.
No.
I don't think that. Did anybody hear that? I didn't hear that.
I think we don't need to cherry pick pieces of people's sentences. You got to hear the whole context.
Yeah, I don't. You know,
I hunt different out of states. I've hunted everywhere. I don't
Yeah.
think anyone should not be able to hunt
Okay.
anywhere.
let's just be honest. Does anybody want someone in your backyard? If I could
Yeah.
hunt 3B and shut it down just for me, how
Oh,
great
yeah.
would that be? If Jared
Yeah.
could just hunt the whole border by himself.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. It's all Nevada's
even-
doing. And I already got text saying we're just doing this for whatever. You're separating houndsmen by doing that. And 20 to say 20 when your quota's never filled. I'm not saying I don't think that something should be happening to these out-of-state hunters that are coming in and being ridiculous. But if you're not calling the game warden and you know they're doing that and not just saying they're doing that, or you think they're doing that, if you know they're doing that and you're not getting those guys busted from another state,
Yeah.
then that's kind of on you. If it's happening, find it.
When I hear that stuff, just those blatant accusations, it sounds just like the CPB guy standing up there. I've seen with my own eyes what the houndsmen do to the endangered species. If you're just pissing in the wind, if you know somebody's poaching, everybody's got a supercomputer and a camera in their pocket.
Yeah.
There's
That's all you
nobody
gotta
here that would
And
turn down
on X.
anybody on
guilty.
this list
No. It's
if they wanted to come here right now
yeah.
and run with us. There ain't
No.
a person here.
I think
Except
an
Benny.
out of
Benny
I
hunts
think an
alone.
I think an out of state like hound hunter permit is the greatest thing in the world. Come
Yeah.
chase. Like I love going to new country and seeing it and hunting. I'm trying to say this in the right way. I mean, I know I ruffled feathers. I don't know what I said earlier, and I frankly don't care. But to come chase is great. The guys that come just to kill something as a kill is what I don't like. I think of lions and bears as trophies, and I want someone to take a trophy, not a kill just to kill, is what I probably meant. So to come hunt and come chase and come experience it, I think that's a great thing. And I think that's what Nevada's trying to shut out, and I don't agree with it.
Yeah. It's
I don't
Here's
agree.
a good example.
I don't
Is-
agree with Idaho's policy of 7,500 or 75 non-resident
Resident.
hound hunter permits that you have to draw. I don't agree with it. I think it should be different. Do I think it should be a free for all like Utah? No. Like I don't agree with that either. But like I'm not trying to keep anybody out of every other state. I just think the harvests should be more regulated is what I'm trying to
Well,
say.
that's the numbers theory. If
Yeah.
they're over there killing, if you have a harvest of 200 lions and they're killing 300 because out of staters and in staters, obviously you're gonna have to do something. Now, if it's a mandatory check-in, you know who's killing what. So if you have a huge population of out-of-staters coming in, I'm all for that management and regulation if the numbers is right. If you're killing too many, the numbers is right. So if you have Idaho people coming to Nevada, then and they're killing all the Idahos are killing all the lines in Nevada, then you're gonna have to do something. And that's just to make it fair to your residents.
Yeah.
You know, because your residents are residents. Your residents pay that tax. Your residents are there. It's their house. But if the numbers aren't being met, if the numbers aren't being met, then who cares? Is it about someone hunting in your backyard now? Is that what it's about? And you don't want them there?
They don't want to see other trucks on their roads. That's all it is.
Well, that's different from just another truck because I've seen it a little bit. This is why I quit hunting the snow, is because of flipping drama. It's you, and there's some groups in Nevada, guys, that are the same way. We get non-resident guys, and you don't go and drive 7-12 hours by yourself. You're bringing a couple rigs when you come hunting, okay? Residents are doing this shit too. These are snow hunters. These aren't drag around guys dragging up a mule or two doing a circle together. These guys, when you hunt snow, to find a lion, all it takes is covering country. Well, to cover country, it's multiple rigs in the snow. Non-residents and residents are bringing rigs over with 4 or 5 guys, and they're covering mountain ranges like locusts.
Yep.
And lions can't hide in the snow. The snow tells everything. And so what happens is you get me hunting Nevada in the snow, and all of a sudden, I've seen this in Nevada at my buddy's place. We drive down the road. All of a sudden, there's a hound camp and a wall tent set up, and there's 5 rigs there in his backyard. And they sit there for 2 weeks with their hound rigs, and they're coming through. And I'm sorry, guys get excited. I've seen new guys get excited and wax the first female they've ever caught. First line they've ever caught, whatever. Now, what happens is it's a small mountain range, and there are 4 guys on it. They just drove 6 hours one way, 7, 12, 14 hours one way. Do you think they're not going to fill both their tags?
They're going to do their hardest.
They're going to do their hardest.
But that's just part of hunting.
And
That's
but
part of hunting.
it's hard because someone like that has never seen a lion, doesn't know the experience. The first one they catch, and I don't know if I can say whatever I say, but it's freaking awesome. Like I'm trying to watch my mouth. Like the first lion I ever caught was freaking awesome, but I didn't kill it. And I understand they drove that far. They want that. They want the trophy of a mountain lion, which is great, but take a trophy.
Yeah.
Versus a female. Like I had this conversation with Jared earlier. Someone that waits 15 years and draws the best premium bull elk tag in the state, hunts 30 days, and they see nothing but a 310 bull. And so you're like, well, we saw a bunch of cows. We're going to kill the first cow we shot on a premium bull tag. Like if that puts it into perspective on how I feel. I can't regulate it because the state says either one is fine, which is great. But to me, it's all about showing that animal justice and taking a trophy versus killing the first thing you tree, if that makes sense.
And here's when you have guys, I'm just going back to these hunters again. These are residents and non-residents. These are guys just camping in a backyard. When you have 4 guys with 8 tags apiece, and they don't leave one mountain range for 2 weeks and kill 8 lions, that range is dead.
That's devastating
That
and
is
especially
dead
not
for the year.
not just to the lion population, but anyone that is used to just pursuing for the love of the hounds in that area. They just
that's good.
hurt them.
That's good right there.
That-
Because let's talk about that. Look at this. It is sad. Houndsmen, are they drama or are they this? I'm sorry, I just got upset. Passion. I think the passion
It's
with
passion.
what we're doing gets so overwhelming when you have someone taking that away from you.
Yeah.
And then we get into this. You have people that say, hey, listen, we want our state and 20 of you guys can come over. Now, that's a good idea if there's only 50 lion in there. Like, look at the bear. Take the bear in Nevada, right? How many bear can you kill in Nevada?
45.
Yeah.
5
So
are
are they going to
non-resident.
let every houndsman come in with a tag and then just put a 45 limit quota?
Right?
No, it's going to be harder to come in.
And
you know,
here's another thing. It's when you go back to passion, the problem with houndsmen is they're literally loving the sport to death. We're squeezing the sport so tight that the eyes are popping out, dude.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
I don't like what's going on in Nevada because it's really segregating.
It is.
Two
And
people, in-state, out-of-state.
The reason I want to raise the limit for the hound permit is because I want to raise the money wise, because I want you to think I just drove 15 hours to catch a lion. Do I really want to dump I have 2 weeks here. Do I really want to dump this 60-pound female, or do I want to find a tom? I just paid I'm not going to say a number. I just paid X amount of dollars to drive over here 15 hours and catch a female.
Here's the question, right? You're just saying right now, Jared, here's a question for you. For Jared's example, my question is, so do you think charging them a mint will stop them from killing all the cats they see? I don't think it's a good solution. I think the smarter way is on limits.
So
we have a limit. It's one. It's one.
Yeah.
That's what we want is one.
That's what we want is one. The quotas or the limit's 2 right now. We want 1. But if you spend X amount of dollars and you see that 60 and you have 2 weeks to hunt or whatever your break is for work, and you look at that little 60-pound female and you're like, that's not it. I just spent so much money to get here. I want to see that pumpkin head tom. And believe it or not,
Red Nose, I'm in
Tom,
Arizona. That's why I said 1. I was thinking Arizona.
The tags are 2 in Nevada. When you spend X amount of dollars to get there, don't shoot a female. You could be proud of what you got home, not something where you pick it up and the feet aren't off the ground yet, and you're 5'2".
But Jared, and I'm not saying this from me. I'm coming from their perspective. To them, it's a foreign object, and it is the first one they see. Freaking amazing.
And this big at 90 pounds, no matter.
Do you know what? And I understand.
Yeah.
I get it, and I get the charging more can make them think about it. I think it's a lack of an education thing for the most, because us guys, any guy that run hounds, it's all about the sound of the hound. We love it.
Yeah.
We do this, we do that. But a guy that's never caught a lion in his life comes out here, the first lion they catch, it's going to be hard not to. And so I think the best thing that Nevada can do is, 1, limit it to 1 per person. If they raise the tags a little bit to help pay for an extra game warden to regulate those better units, I think that's a good idea too, because it's going to help. Poachers are going to poach no matter the regulations where you're at. They're going to be shitty. So I'm not a fan of game wardens, but if it's going to help your state, Benny, I see you giggling with the arms folded. But I'm not a fan of them either. But if you raise the tags just enough to help justify another game warden in those hard regions, I think that could be beneficial. I'm not a fan of more policing. I think people should police themselves, but it's very, very hard for someone that's doing a once in a lifetime thing to not see that first one they catch as that once in a lifetime animal without some education. I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm not saying they should, but I think one per person is more than sufficient.
Absolutely.
If that
And
makes sense.
I think
know-
that's the best way to do it. And I get that. Like I say, I come from back east. The first one I caught with my dogs, she didn't weigh 100 pounds. And I thought about it for a second, boys. I'm not going to pretend I didn't. I thought about it. But when I seen her, she didn't look much bigger than my dog. So then, that took it out of me. But a lot of guys, that ain't going to be that way. I moved here. And I can't say if I drove from back east 23 hours, $1 grillion and got one caught. I can't say, I got a week off, whatever. I can't say I didn't plug that thing.
Well, with that week off, this is another thing. You love the sound of your dogs barking. Okay.
Yeah.
You filled your tag now. No, this is just with one lion tag, not the 2 that Nevada has right now. Just you have one tag. You drove 15 hours out here. You hunt bears back east, wherever. You drove 15 hours out here. First day, second day, whatever of your week of hunting, you catch a female. Are you gonna dump it and go home early?
Well, I
Or
would, but
you
some
gonna-
guys wouldn't, some guys might, But I
or
think
would
that's
you
not.
say, hey, I'm gonna go run my dogs online some more?
I was about to ask this question right here also, because it is a big difference when you just have pleasure hunters. But Red Nose makes a good point that these guys that do have that money, not right here. This is when he said, here we,
Go
I
up
don't know
a
where.
couple.
Yeah, I think it is. When he
Makes them
said, and this is true, this is absolutely true right here. If you're coming from back east and you're hunting on a 10-day line hunt and you catch at the 8th or 9th or 10th day, you catch a little lion, they're going to want to take it because that's the last time they'll probably be able to get over here.
Absolutely, but we're not. We might not get the party hunt.
But we're going back to numbers. Has Arizona filled their quota in the last 10 years?
That's what
We
I'm
did
saying.
last year.
It's not
Arizona-
about.
He's
It's not
talking
about the
Nevada.
numbers.
Chris is spitting weird facts. He means Nevada.
No, it's
Oh.
not about the numbers. I don't think it's
I'm
about
going
the
to keep
numbers
talking
at
about
all.
Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
No,
it's
they
all
haven't.
about. It's all about guys that are guiding in the snow, or guys that are weak, or guys that are like me that just suck, that need the snow, or they can't get on one, which didn't do me any good. But
Or Robert.
It's-
Or Robert Chase.
yeah, guys
Don't
that
pick
are
on Robert.
they're either guiding for money, and it's harder for them because there's competition,
Well,
or they're just no good.
But
You
I want
know
to.
what I mean? Like this guy
let's-
drove 20 hours to hunt this mountain range.
yep.
Well, maybe you got to drive 4. I got to
Well,
do that every time I go in.
let's-
And I don't leave.
Let's freeze this for a sec. Benny, what do you got to say?
Oh, shit.
He's got it. He's locked and loaded. I just want to hear someone that's from a different generation's perspective on what he thinks on this before the rest of us younger folk spew some more shit.
Yeah, because we've already pissed everybody off.
Yeah, I honestly want to hear Benny's opinion coming from a different generation, living in a few different states. What you think about just the gist of out of state hunters and tag fees and guides?
Oh, you guys want me to confess? Look, guys, when I wanted to go hunting somewhere, I went hunting. Sometimes I paid to go hunting and sometimes I didn't. I didn't go hunting to draw attention to myself. I didn't go hunting to, hell, back then they didn't have the internet. Shit, I remember the computer came out and it was this big. But I went hunting to see new country and to enjoy my dogs.
Yep.
And so all of us living in the Southwest, we take everything for granted what the people back east long for. I'm an
Very true.
Arizona native. I'm an Arizona native. All I know, I've lived other places. I've lived in Iowa and I've lived California. It's kind of the same, but not really. I've lived in Kentucky. I've lived other places, but I'm telling you that for me, there's nothing like the desert Southwest, you know? And so what we have at our fingertips, other people like Rick Cooley. Rick wants to save his money and come over here just to experience it. And I get it. But you
He's
guys are
come.
talking about these guys come over here and they bring their bear dogs or they bring whatever kind of dogs they've got. And they put them on a lion track in the snow and they coax their dogs to track that lion and they catch a female. They don't know what a female is. They don't know the difference between a tom and a female. They don't know that those spots are just faded and you can barely see them, and that lion needs to have 2, 3 more years on it.
They see
They
a
they
mountain
don't
lion.
yeah, they don't comprehend what we've grown up with. And so I think that, I was right here when I left Arizona. I was told by a top-notch Arizona lion hunter, "Hey, you're going to be right there close to the Guadalupe Mountains. You'll have that range to yourself. There's nobody there." And you know what I found? When it didn't snow, I owned the Guadalupe Mountains. And I didn't, but I didn't care. I didn't go over there and say, "Hey, this is my mountain range," and I didn't go all the way around the edge of it and pee on every bush and bust out people's windows or any. Bring it on. Competition is healthy if you are capable. If you're not capable, then go crawl underneath a damn bush somewhere and whine.
This is why I
Yeah.
asked what I asked.
This is
Nailed
why
it.
we save him to the end.
Nailed
I
it.
knew Benny would have a great perspective on it and could say it better than I could. Because you're right. Those guys don't know the true essence of the Southwest, whether it's Arizona, Nevada, even Utah has its benefits. But I also understand the guys that live there and want to preserve what they have, and I see it both ways, and that is why I wanted Benny's opinion. Because when Benny wants to be, Benny can sure talk like a philosopher.
Oh shit. I'm gonna have to go home. Oh, I am home.
Yeah. It's
I think there's a lot of differences there. I think there's a lot of you have your pleasure hunters, you have your guides, and you're gonna have your good guides, you're gonna have your bad guides. You're gonna have
hold
whatever
up.
they think they're doing.
You hold up. You better say you're gonna have your bad pleasure hunters.
I just said
There
that.
are.
Didn't I say that?
You
Yeah.
just said guides.
Well, just the out of state guides. But anyways,
You son of a bitch.
but even in Nevada, if that went through, you're telling me that Joe Blow's dogs that he only had 7 or 8 of, all of a sudden ain't going to be 15 with his collars on it? They're going to do it no matter what.
They do, and disclaimer: I lived in northern Utah, a border state of Idaho. I know how all of that works. If you can't hunt in that state, you have buddies that live in that state. You figure your way around it.
Yeah.
I
And
think
it will happen. And I'm not saying I don't want any out of staters to come hunt anywhere else. I think that's a great thing. I think it should be regulated on the harvest side a little bit. That's what I'm saying. I don't want anyone from
Especially
back
with
east.
hounds.
Yes, I don't
Yes.
want anyone from back east to not be able to come out and experience this true western, southwestern thing, like Benny was saying, because it truly is a magnificent thing to behold. To watch these dogs work a dirt lion. I mean, a snow lion is something to behold in itself. You know, bear hunts happen across the whole U.S. That's a different story, but a lion, it is a western thing, and it's a mysterious thing to those that live back east.
Well, when you see those green eyes, dude,
And
and you're walking up and those green eyes lock onto you, and it's just like, I won and you didn't.
yeah, and
And it grabs onto you.
like Benny said, they don't know the difference between
Yeah.
a female or a big
Yeah.
tom unless they do some education, which
Yes.
which is sometimes it's no fault to them, sometimes it is. They can be ignorant or they can educate themselves. I understand that. I just what we're saying is we're not for what Nevada's trying to do. They're trying to
Yes.
keep everybody but 20 out-of-state houndsmen in their state, and no one in this 5 people I can see is for that, right?
No one here is for
We're
it.
saying the exact
No,
thing Red Nose just said.
we're just throwing
If the
ideas.
quotas aren't being
Okay.
met,
Well,
why
hold
are
on.
we
Let me
talking
talk
about
about the quotas. Let me talk. So this is Nevada. Okay. Here is the problem. Utah, Idaho, Oregon. Okay. This area, snow stays. When snow stays, lions die.
Yep.
This is where non-residents go. Every one of them. Here, this side, California. California hasn't had lion season since 1970. No snow, dry. Great Basin Desert. So what happens is everyone sits here when it snows. Me, because I hate drama, stayed over here.
and you still caught.
And but I did not catch the numbers that they catch over here.
Mhm.
So what Jared's saying is Nevada is an anomaly compared to most states
Yes.
because most of these western states like Utah or Arizona, they don't have a bordering state. I mean, yes, Arizona has a little bit of a border on California, but they don't have quite the border that Nevada does of a state that does not regulate their lions. And it also has a this half never snows. This part does. And the people that are really pushing this live in the part that snows. Right, Jared?
Yes.
My thing with that is they can do two things. So, A, out of state guys have to go where the snow is. I promise you. I thought I had some slick fucking dogs, and it took me all year to catch two, and I got lucky both times in the dirt. Okay, if you're not hunting the snow as an out of stater, you're not going to get it done. It's just not. It's a different world. You're hunting on Mars. But in your party groups, like you're talking about, that's messed up. See, in Alaska, they have a trick for that. So if Chris buys a moose tag and we all go with him, and I'm like, oh, hey, Chris, on the radio, there's a big moose over here. I have just broken the law.
Yep.
I think they need to make that where if you're helping, you better have the permit or you better be a guide.
Yeah.
So if you're driving around in your pickup cutting tracks and telling your buddy where you found them, that should be a violation, and that's going to ruffle everybody's feathers.
Well,
But
here's
again,
the
if
thing.
even if you're a resident guide doing this for a living, if you need your cousin Timmy to go cut a track for you, then you either are living what you can afford, or you
this
ain't
is
as good
the
as you
thing.
think you are.
This is the thing. You have all 4 or 5 of us hunt together in the snow. The snow hunting is not like dirt hunting. In the snow, it's more not person, but what's buddy type of stuff. We all can get together and have fun together, unlike dirt guys that all hate each other. And we don't hate each other. We just go hunt our separate ways and then call each other about how we got our asses kicked. You know, when snow guys get together, they all own 4 dogs. All of them have 4 dogs. They all go and see who's going to catch the track first. And then they get on the radio, and now they have all the dogs on that track. So it's not like it's just one pack of dogs and 6 buddies are just with them to see a lion in a tree. No, every one of them's got dogs in that box in the truck.
But so what? You know, like
So
I growed up. It's like that everywhere. There'll be 35 trucks in this unit, and everybody don't like each other, and there's fist fights at trees and everything else. That's just how it is when you're not hunting private property. You
well,
try to regulate
we're-
people out because it's not fair.
no, we're not trying to regulate anyone out. We're just trying to make it one tag.
What
Well, I
about
agree
this?
with that.
And
What about this? Just make it illegal to hunt in the snow.
Oh, hell.
Let's start a fight.
Now,
That's
Let's
Yeah.
start another fight.
Hey,
Let's
here
get
we
it.
go.
What's
And
what's
Wayne,
Robert say
just
about
because
this?
Wayne married his sister, you can't just call me an only child.
oh
Wayne.
no. Chris, you probably don't. I mean,
Yeah, then
let's
if they want to save lion lives, make the season run from like March to October, and then close for 2 months or something. You know, that'll
Well,
save lion
Ooh,
lives.
don't say that around Jared. Don't
But
say
don't-
close.
Chris, go. Let's go back up to Rick's
Which one?
last comment. Rick's last comment, just because I want to.
The
I
separation.
Yeah, I understand.
Absolutely.
Conversation like this can separate us, but I promise you, everyone in this group wants nothing more than the next guy to succeed. We're all so passionate about what we hunt that we want to preserve it. And sometimes lines get crossed. Like whatever you hunt, I'm not sure where Rick's from. I've never met Rick, never talked to this guy. I don't know what he hunts.
Indiana, Rick.
So like coons, he probably hunts coons if he's in Indiana. If I come hunt Indiana, I want you to do just as good as I do. When I talk to some of these guys, to me it means just as much as me when Jared calls me and said, "Hey dude, I caught a lion today. This happened." I'm as excited for Jared
Yeah.
almost as much as I would be if I caught one for myself. Like almost. It's
Right?
close.
Yeah.
But I love hearing stories about how the dogs did this, how the dogs did that. I have hunted hounds for 18 years myself on bears and lions. You know what I've killed? One bear. Yes, I've taken some clients for other people. I have never killed a lion in my life because I love to see lions and I love to trail them. And I know that if I kill that lion, I will not be able to catch it the next day. Bears, I took one. I had a good bear tag. I took that opportunity because I had my dad and my brother with me that have never hunted hounds in their life. And they were with me, and I caught a pretty bear. I decided to take that bear. Out of 18 years, that is all I have personally killed. And anyone in my family, my immediate family, has killed. I want the next guy to be as successful as me when it comes to hounds and catching. But I also want to not have an over harvest for my kids to not enjoy. That's what I'm after is I want the animals to be on the landscape for my kids. That's what I truly care about. If you know anything about Cold Strike and about what I'm about preserving everything for the future generation.
Protect our traditions.
That's
Yeah.
all I'm gonna say. I gotta sign off in a few minutes, but all I care about is the future generation and preserving the way of life that we have.
And he must
Out
have
of-
said
out of state-
this from the heart
Out
because
of
most of the time, Dustin just leaves and don't sign off, guys.
Yeah.
I do.
This is
I
like
am, I am so good at the Irish goodbye. No one will ever.
everybody just like where'd Dustin go?
No one will ever perfect the.
So
Irish
he means
good-
it, guys.
No one will ever perfect that Irish goodbye like I can. But truly,
Yeah.
all I care about is the future generations because I have 4 kids, and whether they love the dogs or not, I have some that do, some that don't. I want it to be available to them. I want them to be there in 20 years, sitting with their arms folded like old Benny, saying, "You know what? We caught some lions. We did some stuff we shouldn't have. We had some fun, but we had some
Yes.
lions and we had some bears to catch, and we done had a good time doing it." I want those memories, and
It's for
that's
the
all
future.
that's all I'm
Yes.
for. I might have opinions that ruffle someone else's feathers, but they're opinions. We all have opinions, right?
Yep.
Doesn't make it set in stone. It just means we're all different people. So with that,
Adios, amigos.
thanks, gents. It's
Later.
been a good
See ya.
night. It's been a lot of tough
Well,
discussion.
as a
You know.
disclaimer, after it's all over, I told these guys, I said, I just want to talk about this just because it's big. It's all over the internet. I just wanted to
Yeah.
kind of break into it a little bit.
And it's hard, everybody like Chris, everybody has different opinions, and guys from back east, they want to come out here and experience it, but they also are not in the thick of what we deal with out here either. So they don't quite understand it. And we don't understand what they go through because we're not a part of that world. Like the deer guys that go through stuff go through a lot of things back east. Like they're trying to shut down hunting back east with deer dogs and stuff that we're like, well, deer are trash. We don't chase trash. You know, it's just a whole different thing. Everybody's got different opinions.
Yep.
Is what it is, you know.
It's
And
a
in the
completely
end,
different.
it's
Sorry.
in the end, it's an opinion. That's all it is.
Well,
it's an opinion.
Mhm.
It's also a completely different culture.
Yeah, that's a fact.
It is way different than bear hunting and way different than coon hunting.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
need to learn. We need to learn how to respect each other's cultures and encourage each other in those cultures.
Yep.
Exactly. Yes.
And I will say, when guys come out west, like most guys that I've run into are just unfriendly out here. Yeah, you got a-holes everywhere, but like by and large, most guys back east are like more friendly about it. Like guys out here be stomping out tracks and stuff. I never heard of that until I come out west. That's insane, you know.
And
Mhm.
It gets back to the competition. Either
Mhm.
you can or you can't.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
It's chess,
why
not
you-
checkers.
Mhm.
like, it's one of them things. Like if I what's like I told you guys before, if I catch one or I cut a track, I tell you right exactly where it is. I keep giving that owner pins to guys I know. I don't care. If I find something, I'll show you. Because if I didn't catch him today, I ain't gonna catch him tomorrow. And if you catch him tomorrow, I'm gonna see you. That's pretty cool. Send me a picture, you know.
Yep.
Well,
But
and
I just grew up like that with everybody hunting the same stuff and innocence and getting wild about it. But that's a big issue is that like you want to remove competition so you don't have to be better. Just be better.
yeah, well,
You
it's
live
like
here.
like I told Jared on the phone today. I was like, dude, I've been hunting dogs for 18 years, and I guarantee if I come down and hunt with you in country I've never been, in a whole different world, I'm gonna get an education.
Yep.
Plain and simple. I'll get an
agree.
education, and I'd be happy to get it.
Just like I went up to Utah one time. I've never heard an elk bark. I don't live in elk country. I've never hunted elk country.
That's different.
You know, I'm trying to get my female back to me, and she's 200 yards away, 100 yards away, barking. And I'm like, hey, and I'm walking to her. She's barking, you know. And all of a sudden, I can't make that noise, but all of a sudden, you hear that noise, and I'm just like, did she catch a coyote? A wolf? Like, what is that thing? And I look at my buddy that's from Utah, and I was just like, what is that? And he's like, she caught a cow elk. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. She's never smelled one before. I don't know.
Yep. It's all about learning.
Yep.
And Derek,
Right.
see you, Dustin.
So,
Derek, give you another year before you're stomping out tracks. Because I'm going to tell you what, when you stomp out a track, because you only have that one lion. Back east, they have 100 coons. They have a lot of bears.
That's true.
But
I
when
don't
it
know.
comes
I
to
think
lions, I don't stomp out tracks.
no.
I make my
But-
10-year-olds go pee over there somewhere, and as far as they
Well,
can walk.
That's why you carry a Labrador with a tennis ball and just throw that tennis ball down both sides of the track and
Mhm.
throw some hay on the ground. It looks like someone turned out on it, and you can just keep going.
You know, they're only stomping out tracks on the road.
That's right.
Get your butt out in the country, and you won't have to worry about that.
Absolutely. And this is where it all goes back to in the state of Nevada. The whole problem is the snow country.
Yeah.
It's a whole issue because lions can't hide in the snow. I can grab my 1.5-year-old dogs that have seen half a dozen lions, and I can go catch up there in the snow. I might have to hike the track out and yell at them when they go and booger bark at some deer when they get up in front of them, but I can go catch that lion.
What's that like, Jared?
It's a lot
Catching
of
a lion.
sweating. It's a lot of sweating and swearing. Is
I
what
thought
it is.
I thought I was gonna get up in that snow and get them caught. Thought it was gonna be an easy day. I don't believe I'll give a crap if it snows next time.
It sucks.
If you get out
Yeah.
of the truck and you think it's going to be an easy day, you better get back in that truck.
I don't know if you heard her.
I
Oh, we
did.
Oh,
heard
yeah.
her. Oh, we heard her.
I don't know. And well, I mean, I hunted with Jared one time. That's the first time I ever looked in the dirt on the road for a track. I never did that before. You know,
No.
it didn't occur to me. You know, I just
Oh,
was
it's because
walking canyon.
Jared's spoiled down there because those roads are dragged every couple days.
All those roads are just there's rocks the size of minivans you got to drive
Yeah.
over to down here. You know.
My favorite place to hunt is in the Catalina stuff, and you can't see tracks on those roads. They're all gravelly and they suck. But I like going there and just hike up those canyons. You know, go where there
Yeah.
might be some water, and that's my
It's
favorite. It's rough and nasty, and I like that. You know. But there's a lot of bears in there. My dogs really like those bears, so I ain't been in there in a while. Been trying to stay away from them, but apparently I can find bears down there on the border too, where they ain't supposed to be any.
Them bears are all over there.
So Derek, stand back and look at the mountain range. And way up high in one of the most gradual but deep saddles, go up there and start looking around and get up underneath some trees and look for some scratches. Well, those lions are just like anything else. They want to take some of the easiest pathways. And if they want to cross that mountain range, they're not going to go over the peak on purpose. And you find one of those nice, gradual, high saddles and go up there and just start spending time. And get your
look at
ass
Benny
off the
giving
street.
tips out.
Yep.
Giving tips out.
I don't
Son of
drive
a
much.
I
I can't
didn't give
afford
him
to
that
drive
tip
much.
for a reason.
That'll
got
be
a-
handy because I don't know where they go. You know, I just walk around aimlessly in big circles and
Well,
cuss a
yeah,
lot.
because you haven't trailed lions, so you don't think like a lion thinks. You're hung up on crawfish.
Alaska. He's from Alaska. He was in Alaska last.
Oh yeah, see,
Yeah.
lions do not live in Alaska.
No,
No, those moose over there will stomp a lion to death, and they're not going to put up with that.
yeah.
Yep.
So next
And
week we're going to do the drawing for the dog box. But check
Sweet.
this out. Check this out. If you put in for this dog box and you do not win, because I've had people text me who's doing the dog box in case I don't win, I'm going to get one. And I called the guy that Apex Dog Boxes. You can go to Facebook, Apex Dog Box and metal fabrication or fabrication. He told me if you put in and you don't get drawn, he'll knock $1,000 off a dog box, the big one, like for a truck. Knock $500 off a side-by-side dog box.
Right on.
So already, because you guys put in $25 or $100, whatever, you're going to save $500, or that $25 got you a $500 or $1,000 credit to build the dog box.
Right on.
How you like that?
That's super cool right there. That's
So
awesome.
we will do that drawing next week. And if you guys want to check out his stuff, just go on Facebook, Apex Dog Boxes and Fabrication.
Yep.
Go to Arizona Working Dog Alliance. I think it's on there. Go to any of our stuff. I just wanted to throw that out there.
so
That's pretty cool.
Are we gonna talk about what the topic was supposed to be today?
No, it's been 2 hours. I knew it. I wanted to kind of save the Nevada thing until I could get somebody on, but there's nobody. I don't think nobody's going to want to come on.
Well,
Well,
I have buddies, and I talk like, dude, I've been on the phone about this
I
Nevada
know.
thing since Sunday, and all my
And if
buddies
you're
are
putting
on,
this forward,
well,
you should get
all my
on and
buddies,
explain yourself.
all my buddies are on that petition, and they signed it, and it's because they literally, it'd be like me. I get competition, I get all that stuff. But it's like me, everyone down in my area, and now you're telling me, since the unit in Maricopa's the only one open, that I have to go hunt Maricopa. I hate Maricopa.
Ugh.
It's Cactus and Palo Verde.
Nobody. That's why I hunt there. That's why I hunt there, because nobody hunts there.
Absolutely. But like
There's
that's
mountain
the
ranges there
issue.
though.
And now
That
but
is
There is.
really
instead of
close to my house.
but
Mhm.
instead of that mountain range being at 2 hours from me, it's 6. And that's where I have to go now instead of being 20 minutes behind me.
Are you going to go?
Absolutely, I'm gonna go.
Exactly. So if you're
But
getting
that's
out hunted, hunt harder.
absolutely, you have to hunt hard. But you have to be like what I did to that guy on the border that had a client. I'm a non-resident guide. He had a hunter. I didn't. Call the guy and tell him, hey, you're going backwards. You could do that too.
Yep.
You can't, we just can't be douchebags.
Yeah, but you can't regulate
You got to
asshole
come
with
up with a
small one.
solution.
You do.
You got to come up with that solution that's not going to say F you guys.
You
And
can't.
how many out-of-state hunters are hunting? I would love to know the numbers of how many out-of-state hunters are actually hunting in Nevada. I
Yeah.
would love to know that numbers for Arizona, everywhere.
Well, this
How
is
many
there's an
out-of-state hunters are catching? That's what I'd like to
Mhm.
know.
Well,
Because they're
that's-
not filling their quotas. Maybe they need unit quotas. You know, like what we got for
That's-
bears.
that's something I thought they should do, but I'm not the game commission. They have a statewide for a reason. I don't get the reason, but they have it for a reason. Now, it's just like in Chris's country. Chris will call me because it snowed and he went from having 12 lions left to 2 in a week. Same thing up north. The
Mhm.
same thing that they're dealing with up there. Or the bear hunt down here when me and Chris got into an argument about we gotta figure something out about the bears. Me and Chris had the same argument, not on the podcast, but we hashed
Mhm.
it out for 2 hours over the phone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And it's just that type of stuff. We can't do what they did where they keep their mouth shut about it and then just throw it out there real quick.
Yeah.
You can't
That's what
do
the
that.
other side does.
You can't just hold your emotions in and be like, and then totally just go to the principal.
Yeah.
Go talk to the guy. Or bring it up. Something.
Yeah.
You just can't go and be like, help me because I'm in trouble now.
Yeah.
He's not nice to me anymore, so he needs to leave. You can't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
They could
Boy,
probably
he
run.
caught too many lions in my country. I don't want him here no more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You
those
know,
guys don't think
and-
about
Hey.
shutting down a mountain range for the year. You know what I mean, or for how many months?
They don't. And the hard part is when like coming from a guy, I have expenses, and they're obviously trying to figure it out. I can go 20 miles from my house, 40 miles from my house, trail a lion, catch a lion. Now, some guys went there, so now I got to go 2 hours. So I just went from, but now that you killed those 8 lions out of that mountain range, my expenses went from, for 4 hunts, spending $100 in fuel to now I have 10 hunts, I have to spend $1,000 in fuel. So now I just lost 10 grand in fuel because of that. Now, I get it. It's legal. I have nothing against it. It's the way of life. It's just like a rancher losing a calf to a wolf. It just sucks. And that's just how it, and that's what they have to say too, is it just sucks.
Look,
I don't know if I
guys,
said
just go
anything right
hunt.
there.
Just go hunt.
And keep it to yourself. Everybody
Yeah.
doesn't need to be a damn blabbermouth. Just go hunt.
Yeah, if they didn't post all their pictures, then all those boys from Michigan
Well-
or wherever wouldn't know what units were good.
Chris,
Yeah.
do you want to remember what happened? A movie came out and people were on it from Nevada.
That's what I was. Someone
Podcast.
brought that up to me today, and they said, "Listen,
Podcast came up
these
and they were from
people.
Nevada.
Yes, these people." And it was brought up to me today that there was people that made the video about how everybody gets along and we should do it. And now,
Well, it's not just that, but when you go on the internet and talk about these line scratches that you found, these lines you're trailing, and you're showing people all these things that you're doing on the internet because you're trying to educate people. Yeah, like Benny.
you
You're
won't
trying to
shut up
Because
about
educate.
hunting
look,
everywhere.
look how cool I am. Look what
Mhm.
I
Yep.
can do. Look at me, look at me, look at
Yep.
me.
And guess what happened? People looked at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And guess what happened? It took a Google search to find where they live and hunt.
Yep.
It's a dream place. I've heard it. 24/7, 2 tags. God, I'm looking for property over there. You know,
Well, don't
Me
do
I'll
too.
that.
be
They'll put
I'll
an
be a
immigration.
resident. I'll be a resident, so I don't care about you non-residents then.
That's right.
All you
right.
got to do is go hunt outside of the snow range, and nobody will even know you're there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
Everyone,
But
my buddies always make fun of me
Two of them.
because
I've
I
heard
would
there's
go
two.
hunt.
Yeah, both your buddies. Come on,
Both
Jared.
my buddies, because they would make fun of me because I'd hunt in the desert sheep country in July in Nevada. It's 106. And I have pictures of my camp. It looks like a bum was sleeping there. It's a tarp over a trailer with a bedroll. And it was 106. I'd start at 2 in the morning. I'd be done by 8. And then I'd sit there and bake the rest of the day with the dogs.
Take a nap. But you
Take a
can hunt
nap,
at night.
but I can hunt at night. So that's what I did.
And according to Richard Dickerson, that's not so fun all the time.
Well, Richard started way early in the night. I started so when I was getting there, it's about sunup. By the time if we ever got anything caught, it's about sunup.
Mhm.
I didn't have to do a whole lot of flashlight, but that type of stuff. How bad do you want to be a lion hunter? If you just want to get your dogs out 3 months out of the year and chase the snow, okay, go catch 20 lions in the snow, and you're a lion hunter still. I'm not taking it from you, but
Yep.
you're feeding dogs for 12 months out of the year. I'm gonna hunt 12 months out of the year.
and those guys, they wanna flex and be famous and all that. How many famous snow hunters can any of us name from years gone by?
Robert Chase.
Robert Chase.
You know what I
Is
mean?
there
Though, like
anybody else?
like when we make a list of our heroes, the guys we read about, them
It's
boys
all
was
old school.
old school dirt hunting, doing it the
Well,
hard way. That's
me-
if you want to be famous, that's how you do it. You know what I
but
mean?
let me interject. Those guys hunted the snow when they had the opportunity.
Well,
But
yeah,
they hunted
but
everything,
they hunted everything.
everywhere. No
Yeah.
matter
They
who
did.
was in their country, they hunted. And it was who caught it first.
Yep.
Yep.
But you got people
And
like
that-
Warner Glenn who took a mule up places you weren't supposed to take a mule. He was hunting the spots no one wanted to hunt.
Then he got to ride a helicopter to Tucson.
A couple times.
And yeah, that's what you got to do. I had to ride a helicopter. Well, I didn't. They wouldn't let me in the helicopter with my dogs, but they dropped a guy out of a helicopter with rope and water in September and saved my tail hanging off the side of a cliff with my dogs because we fell because I was in a nasty hole. That's where I caught my first lion, right up on top of a nasty hole in 23 South. And you just if you ain't gonna wear your boots out, then you ain't gonna get it done. That's what I reckon. What's that?
Nothing. Nothing.
I
You don't
fell
know what
off
that
a
is?
friggin- I fell off a cliff, Chris.
Hey, don't fall off a cliff.
Hey, whoa. Richard Dickerson fell off a cliff,
He did.
landed on his dog, broke his pelvis, walked back up the cliff, got back on his mule, went home, and decided maybe he should go to the doctor.
I walked out, but I had to have that other guy to help me get my dogs up the face so we go over the mountain. I couldn't get them up.
I had a horse go down on me. Me and Missy and Mike Leonard and Cole Studdard. We were hunting, and I was riding a lazy colt, Missy's, and it went down on me. And for the first time in my life, I did not get my leg out of the way,
Oh,
and it broke my lower bone. It split it lengthways, cracked. And you talk about hurt. I had to get back on that damn horse and ride through the brush and the rocks an hour and a half to the pickup, and then 45 minutes to the house. And I hopped around on that thing for a month and a half because I couldn't get a doctor's appointment. And
Man,
when I finally got into the doctor, they said, "Yeah, there's a hairline fracture and it's almost healed."
I had a horse roll off a mountain, and I don't know if you can bend a bone, but when I looked down after I got up, I expected that bone to be sticking out of my leg. And I looked down and it wasn't, and I almost threw up. It hurt so bad. Like got dizzy and I mean, it hurt bad. And I didn't go to the doctor for it. Crushed my ankle, all that stuff. Same thing. I was a tough guy. Next day, we go hiking. Me and my son. He was like, I don't know, 12 years old. Or 14. He had a license for deer. We was deer hunting down in 27, and we got lost 8 miles on that ankle, black as it could be. No problems. My cousin breaks his ankle, goes and gets it surgically fixed, and has more problems with that ankle being surgically fixed than I do without it. But I'm like you. I didn't go to the doctor. I took a girl riding and pressing her. I was bareback on my horse. My horse rears up. I lean forward and my hip pops out of its socket. I fall off the horse. And when I fell off the horse, I landed and hurt it right back in. My groin was black for the same thing. Didn't go to the doctor forever, but it healed. Every once in a while, I jump in back of a truck and I can feel it. So what we're saying, Derek, is you got to kind of quit being a pussy.
Hey,
You're going to live in Arizona.
Hey.
ain't no bush now.
Did
I
you
got-
say
I
that?
want
I look like a damn bionic man on an X-ray, son. I got 13 fixators in my pelvis, a fake hip, rods in my legs, and if I can get out there and wear my boots out, everybody else can too.
Exactly.
Now, I ain't quite as fast as Jared. He's got some billy goat in him or something, but
He does. Yep.
I didn't keep up bad,
No, I didn't break a sweat either.
I've always wanted to ride in a helicopter too, but I don't want to leave my mule or my horse behind.
I don't like helicopters.
Well, that guy from Texas.
Yep. He just got saved over there in 31, 32.
32, something like that. I was at the vet office over there, and I asked the vet about it, and she's like, "Yeah, no, he was pretty messed up. He got beat up pretty good. What happened was he was coming down, and his mule was sliding on his butt, and the ground, just riding that shale down. Well, all of a sudden,
But
the
he
ground
wasn't
went
riding the mule, right? Was he just leading it? Like he
No,
had
he
a
was
pack
riding
mule?
it.
Oh,
He was
okay.
riding it. This is what I heard. I haven't talked to this guy directly. This is what I heard. He was riding the mule down on a loose soil, shale rock, what have you, and then he hit a rock,
And just
and that
He jumped off.
he bailed off, and he got beat up a little bit, but that mule went down. She said like 200-300 feet.
mule died. Or no?
Yeah, it did. He went in there. It took him a day and a half to hike in there because he's pretty beat up and sore. And yeah, it was done. Kind of walked in there to go get a saddle, I guess.
His gear.
Yep.
And it can happen this quick.
Yep.
Well,
was
That's quick. Whether you're walking,
just
driving,
like that
or-
bear hunter back east. He fell off a bluff.
Yep.
Remember that little clip I sent you of that bear hunter?
Yeah.
He fell off a bluff.
Got to be careful.
Yep.
We caught that
Guys.
female way up high. I was just walking out, and practice breaks loose, and down we go. Me and the dogs in a big heaping pile down there, knocked me plumb out, tore me up pretty good. And I come to, and there's dogs everywhere, and we're looking straight up at this, and I'm like, crap, and I couldn't go this way. I got to hit a high wall, go this way, and hit the point, and it just drops off a grillion feet. And I got 2 dog leads because I don't strap my dogs up ever, hardly. Now I carry more because if I would have had extra leads, I could have hooked them up and pulled them up, you know. It was only like 15 feet, but I couldn't get the dogs up it, you know, and so I'm just
Derek,
screwed.
Derek, how old are you?
35.
Okay, see. How long
Catching
have you
up.
been in Arizona?
What's that?
How long have you been in Arizona?
3 years.
Check back in 10.
You
It'll
got any
be
train wreck
completely.
stories, Benny?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, how can you be doing what we do? And
um,
I've always been an adrenaline junkie. You know, people say, "Well, we did this and we did that," and like when we were kids, we used to ride dirt bikes out across the gravel pits. And everybody says, well, yeah, but we would drive dirt bikes too. Yeah, but we went as fast as a dirt bike would go. We didn't have helmets and we did it naked. Tell me that somebody else is going to come on now. I'm telling you, it's just a different world.
Yep.
it's all about the era.
I'll
It's wild
guarantee you,
out here.
because if we crashed our dirt bike across that gravel pit at 50 or 60 miles an hour naked, I would not have this sound in my voice today.
That is
Like
true.
that unit I was hunting, and everybody's like, "Oh, don't hunt dogs in there. It's too rough. It's too rough." I thought I was hard stuff, boys. I'm telling you. I thought, if they can go there, I can go there, and then it didn't work out so good after about the second week of hunting in there. There's just so many bears in there. I couldn't help myself, and yeah, didn't work
My
out. So and I don't hunt
my
in there in that same country no more. I don't. I go other places, but
my good horse was 17 the last time he tried to buck me off. And I bought him at a year and a half old. So we had this many years of trying to get along. But if I could duplicate that horse today, I'd start over exactly like I did and do it exactly like I did, because he had heart.
yeah,
You know, I tried to catch an elk on the ranch in the Guadalupes, and that elk, uh, it was a bull elk, and he was running about a 5x5, and he probably was 150 yards ahead of me when we jumped him, and I just fell in behind him and hung the steel old stick horse, and here we go. And that elk got down in a canyon, and I'm trying to rim along the edge of the canyon and get ahead of that elk. And when I dove stick down off into that canyon, that elk got ahead of me by, I don't know, I guess it was probably 10 yards. That's how close we got. And then when I turned around to come back out, I said, what the hell did I do coming off of that edge? So there's all kinds of stories, and sometimes you live through them and sometimes you don't.
yeah,
Sometimes my horse and I were in a bluff in the Guadalupes, and I was trying to go down the bluff, pick my way down, and the ledges are, you shouldn't do it. How's that? But I
Yep.
was trying to do that. I was trying to save myself 2 hours, and my horse got his front hoof caught in a rock and flipped over. And I landed clear of the wreck and didn't go off the bluff. And here's my horse with his leg twisted up under him. I thought, what the hell? So I unhooked my saddle and tried to drag it out from under him and struck out a foot to go find some help, thinking when I come back, I'm going to have a horse with a broken leg and I'm going to kill him. And I got back and he was standing there, just standing there, had his foot out, and he didn't have any swelling in his joints. And he's looking at me like, You ready? I had to saddle that son of a gun back up, and off we go. And I went around the bluff, but just like Chris said, it takes only an instant, and
Quick
you don't
second.
ever, yeah, just, and you don't expect it, and you don't see it coming. And when you're out there all the time, like I was, so yeah, that's how come I ended up quitting, was because of my health. I've got a heart that I was diagnosed with lung cancer and a cardiomyopathy, and my wife was worried that I was going to go out there and croak and nobody could find me. I know, right? So I didn't hunt as hard. And then I got back to where the lung cancer is gone, and I wasn't going to get a pacemaker yet and all of that. And I went back to hunting, and that's when I got that last dog from Hendrix, and I hunted hard right up until work got in the way and I gave my dogs away. But
Work will do that.
There's always going to be an opportunity to have some kind of a wreck story. And you don't have to be horseback, but it helps. All you got to do is try to scale off the front end of a bluff from the top, looking for a hole to climb into to see if there's a lion in there. And, you know, you
Just
can get
like
a
Rick
hold of,
Henderson, right? Or Rick Dickerson. He was just scaling and had them boots on, slipped and
yeah.
fell.
I was up by Logan. Wesley had called me and said that he shot a lion, and he was missing some dogs, and some dogs were shredded, tore up. I said, I'll be there in the morning. And I got there at daylight, and we go over there, and there's no sign of that lion. And I said, well, there's a hole off the edge of this bluff. So I take off down the face of the bluff, and he's hollering, where'd you go? Where'd you go? I said, I'm down here. Well, how the hell did you get down there? Well, I climbed. I said, there's a hole here. Go get a tire iron out of your pickup and we'll chisel at it and get it big enough where you can fit in here. And he was a real skinny guy. And so he says, well, how am I going to get down there? I said, you're going to come down here too. I said, just a minute. I answered my phone and he says, now what the hell are you holding on to? I said, I got two hands. And those kinds of situations, what happens if there's a little dust on that rock or that rock just unloads? Off the bluff I'd go. You know, but when we're there and we have the passion to do it and we're trying to end up with the outcome, you never know.
You have to deal with it when it happens. I had my horse roll down a hill into a wash, and when I was trying to skirt around, same thing. He slipped, rolled, and he rolled over me, like literally rolled over me, stood back up, and I just held on. And shoot, I was young. I was in my 20s then, and you could see where we rolled in the sand and where my jeans pockets were. Got back up on, but I tell you what, if he did it today, I'd probably lay there and die.
There's no doubt
You
of
know,
it.
riding
Guys, I'm
yesterday.
going to take off.
All righty.
I'm going to take
Thank
off.
you.
You guys have a good evening.
All right.
Yes,
Later,
sir.
Benny.
My dog won't shut up. I was riding yesterday, and my wife, she was on that old mule, Ruth, and she trips a lot. She's just old. She's like, is she going to go down and trip on me? And I said, no, she just stumbles her feet. We rode, it's probably about 4 or 5 miles, and we were going to stop. Well, my dogs opened up, and it was in some sand, so I went over to check tracks, and I think they were trying to cold trail. Damn dogs, dude. Can you hear my dogs?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Sounds gorgeous.
God,
He's got a good
Good.
mouth on him.
yeah, chasing coyotes out there. Stinker. So I'm looking at tracks, and she like kind of like, oh my God, she just died. Ruth tried to roll with her on it. And I looked over, and I'm all, no, don't let her roll. Kick her. And I took my mule and ran at it, and then Ruth jumped up, but just tried to roll in that sand. And my poor wife was like, I told her, nothing will happen. Nope. That damn mule tried to roll with her on it, but she got off. She jumped off good.
My niece's horse tries to do that. Get down on like a creek beach or something and try to roll with her. She'll be sticking that horse, just gigging her the fire out of her, try to get her to quit.
Yep. Well, it's an interesting talk.
Yeah.
I knew I was trying to not get into it, but it's kind of hard. And I appreciate
that 30
everybody on
minutes?
here giving their opinions. Rick, Red Nose, I get it. We all get it. I think we all get really passionate. And I think the good thing about the crew we got that comes in on Wednesday nights is we could fist fight it out and go sit around the fire and drink some moonshine after. You know, like I said, we're trying to be transparent. We're not trying to be sneaky. We're not trying to sneak something in. Just kind of telling you. And there's plenty of times, like with Jared, I said, yeah, shit. I think I told Jared, let them. They should do that. And then you start really breaking into the stuff about what's going on and the numbers. I'm about numbers.
Yep.
My mom's Jewish. I'm about numbers. So, and then my dad's Irish. So don't take me to a yard sale because I'll fight you over that 25-cent book. But you got to look at the numbers. And I agree with, a lot of these guys have already said if the quotas aren't being slaughtered, then why are we talking about this? And let's just take Unit 1 in Arizona. They killed 16 sows in 3 or 4 days. I was mad about it only because I couldn't hunt it.
Me too.
Oh, this son of a bitch right here. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Dry ground hunters are sissies. Robert Chase. Yeah. But we I really appreciate Rick getting passionate about it because I know that Rick is passionate about it and Red Nose getting passionate. And I know they say some shit. We all do to where like, we're not going to, it's all right. We talked about it. They didn't jump off the show. There's a lot of people that's left our show, but if we don't talk about it, and that's the only reason I brought it up. Do I want to talk about Nevada? Do I want to talk about Arizona? Do I want to talk about, and you guys keep your eye open for the Central or the Center for Biological Diversity, because they're doing a seminar on March 4th. Just go look them up. Go to that seminar and watch all this crap they're going to spew about how they're going to save our lions. So just look up the Center for Biological Diversity, March 4th. What did they call it?
It's an educational seminar. They're going to teach these people that ain't never seen a dog run are going to teach you what we do.
Educate us on hounds.
Hounding, they like to call it.
Hound hunting, impact, ethics, and how you can help in Arizona.
Just listen to it. Keep your mouth shut. Take notes.
Yep. Don't say nothing.
Right? Don't say nothing. Take notes so that way they just let them cut their own throat.
It's the Mountain Lion Foundation. It's the Mountain Lion Foundation doing it.
I'd like a screen recording of it.
We need to record it.
If they say anything that's false, that's how lawsuits are good. They like to sue everybody. Let's get them on the defensive on that.
Yeah. Rick looked like Hazard almost washed away the other day. But we do appreciate all the comments. We appreciate you arguing with us. We appreciate the support. And remember, you got a week left to put in for the dog box drawing for the side-by-side. And that $25 or $100 for 5 tickets is going to get you $500 or $1,000 off at Apex dog boxes if you want to be built. That's a pretty good deal because some of those dog boxes are for the side-by-side he can do for $1,000 or $1,200. And you're going to save $500. That's like, I told him, I said, are you sure? He said,
that's a big
difference. Is that a Frosty one there, Derek?
What's that?
Is that a Frosty one?
No, it's just a Pepsi. I drank a beer on here one time, and then I thought I better not do that anymore.
I was just like, man, I kind of want one right now. I thought you had one. I was like, that sounds kind of good right now.
I got some silver bullets in the fridge, but that's for after this.
Yeah. So you can go to azwda.com to support us. Rick Cooley, we love you. I promise you, no matter how mad you are at us, we love you. And I'm waiting for you to come hunt with me. They're going to come do some elk hunting, and they're going to come do some hound hunting. I said, bring them. He said, can I bring my dogs? I said, absolutely. Absolutely. So
And he's from Indiana, right?
I believe so. I
Think
think
so.
we're trying. Him and his buddy are trying to get out here to do some elk hunting.
Uh,
So,
No, is that the over the counter one?
Yep. Yep. So I'll do my best to get him an elk.
well, I'd like to shoot the bull with him a little bit. I ain't. Yeah, he probably coon hunts back that country.
Mm-hmm. But we didn't talk
Like-
about, and if anybody, you guys have all been on here before. Everybody that's on here has been on here before. No, we never talk about what we post. I'm just going to start posting something. We're going to talk. That's our topic. We're going to talk because everybody knows. And I told everybody, let's just talk about it. We will get you a squirrel. Hey, I can get squirrels, Anderson.
We knew as soon as Monday morning hit, we knew what we were going to talk about Wednesday.
We did, and I wanted to touch on it because it's all over the internet. And I did get some texts, and he's probably mad at me. But anybody, even Biden, is welcome to come on our show and tell us what the deal is over there.
I wouldn't go that far.
You be quiet, Culver's girl.
Listen, you wanna
And
go-
who else said that? Hey, your
Your
buddy
focus
too.
is better.
Your communist buddy, Brandon, said Whataburger sucks. I'm taking him off my affiliate page right now. I'm gonna put Whataburger signal right next to his.
There you go.
We ought to get us a Whataburger sponsorship.
Yep.
Yep.
And I think I'm gonna put this episode on W.
Let's not.
Why not? Why not?
Let's not.
Why
They
not?
don't need drama.
Hey, Jason's out of there.
God.
And you guys also, I've had this a lot too that says, oh, I didn't catch the episode. If you guys go to your Apple Podcast or Spotify, look up Free Casting. I'm way behind. I just posted some old one. I think it's you and me.
Okay.
You, me, and Rowdy were on. I have a whole bunch
Okay.
saved. I'm going to try to get them on. So if you guys want to listen to some of our bullshit again, just go to Free Casting, look up Apple. It's on a bunch of them. So just look up Free Casting. And you can listen to us while you're driving in the truck, Mr. Cooley. So,
I didn't
Anything
mean to
else,
make them
guys?
mad.
oh, any of you guys looking maybe to win something else that Jared just won? We probably that's going to be our next raffle after the dog box.
Yep.
So keep looking. I like Fuddruckers better than Whataburger. How do I kick Timby out of here?
What is
Let's see.
Fuddruckers?
I didn't even know that we had people from the Soviet Union in here. Okay, so we just
We'll call hunting with the geriatrics. Benny will hunt together and we'll call each other geriatric. There you go. Anything else we got going on? What we got going on? Hey, Saturday, March 1st, me and Derek are going. You have to
Yep.
get on and sign up, but they're having an R3 meeting at the Game and Fish. It's
Awesome.
You have to look it up. Trapping Girl called me and said, "Hey, are you going?" I said, "I don't know. Should I?" She goes, "Yes." And I said, "Well, who's all going with you?" She's like, "Just me, myself, and I." I said, "Then it's a date. I don't know if I can get anybody to go." So we're going to blow down there and hang out with some pretty trapping girls and try to make some friends.
Yep.
Pass out some cards and
put
put some stickers on gas pump. You know how many? Did you guys see those stickers I got? I think I've showed them here before. They're little vinyl stickers that say AWDA. And I have gotten more pictures from people because I put them on gas pumps at Circle K and I put them in bathrooms. I have gotten 5 or 6 pictures that said, "Did you do this?" I'm like, "Well, that's weird. I don't know how that got there."
crazy?
So, all over the state.
Yeah.
I got to mail Wayne Bisbee some because he's been bugging me for some. So, what else? What else we got? Is that it?
I think that's it. We've been at it for.
We've done
Yeah,
pissed everybody off.
We've
We
made
love everybody.
mad.
I mean, I could talk about whatever all night. I love line
Yeah.
hunts, so-
Well, I got to go in and pretend to be a good husband.
Yep. Yes.
But we had a
sir.
good
Yeah.
crowd tonight. We had a good argument tonight. And if anybody that put forth that petition or is for it, I would love for you to come on and tell
Yes,
us
sir.
what your main reason is for doing this. And maybe you changed my mind. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe
Yeah,
you got
could
some
be.
good bullet points.
Yep.
Other than that, we will catch you next Wednesday. Go to azwda.com. Just check it out. Go to coldstrikegear.com. Rick, he supports the shit out of everybody, I promise. And we have an
I didn't mean
AWDA.
to get everything so worked up. I'm not good
Well,
at
I
talking,
think
so.
I think some of it was misunderstood. I think we just said some stuff. People take stuff literally, but it's all right. I think we're good. And if you guys have any questions, azwda@outlook.com. We'll figure it out, and we'll put you on the show next week, so you can call us stupid.
Yep.
Um,
Reach in.
But you can go to coldstrikegear.com, and if you buy a hoodie, if you buy any of our stuff, a hoodie, a hat, and you got t-shirts up now, you get an entry in for the dog box.
Yep.
And we've had a lot of people do that. We've sold some swag.
That's a good
Yeah.
deal.
So if you want to be cool, you got to go to coldstrikegear.com and make yourself look cool. Go to the AWDA swag. Other than
What
that,
all the trendy people are wearing these days.
yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll be sold out. You guys
Yep.
better go quick.
Yep.
Other than that, we appreciate everybody. You guys. Till next time.
Till next time.
See y'all next time.
Laters.
Later.
Yeah.